Hey, Justin, we're going to be talking about Warhammer today. Who are the good guys?
There are no good guys.
Oh no! Who am I supposed to relate to?
Oh, there's relatable characters.
Oh,
but
great.
that's-
Okay, but they're not good guys.
No, they're
Great.
not good.
That's good for me.
Am I to assume this is a very patriarchal set of armies that we're dealing with?
It's
Most.
Oh, yeah.
There's some.
There is one that
Male dominated.
No, there's two that are like women led, but they're
Out of
all
how
about.
many?
They are all about like torturing men. They're both the like BDSM armies.
Oh,
nice.
Great.
They the ones who like their armor is like leather straps that they
Yeah.
wear over
That's
themselves.
Leather
the
bikinis,
Drukhari.
just
Yeah.
barely covering the nipples, and
Yeah, hell yeah.
Mhm.
And then the
Mhm.
other ones, they are in like big battle armor.
Yeah.
But they are also, they do seem to be be all about hurting men. They're
Well,
Fair.
to be fair,
I mean heretics, but
most
whatever.
of the men are most of the heretics are
Yeah.
men. You know.
I usually say they're every like faction has some kind of tank that has like a goofy name, right? Like the Dreadnought or some shit.
Mhm.
The sisters
goofy.
tank is called the Castigator.
Mm-hmm.
oh, fun.
Yeah.
Well, with that, welcome to The Lore You Know, a podcast where some friends dive into the fantastical and often convoluted lore of media that we grew up with and love. And here to bring you the mostly correct facts about made-up things this week are me, Fran.
Me, Ethan.
I'm CJ, and I'm looking over. I see a third boy. That's
And I-
right. It's Justin. Hey, Justin, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Justin!
I need help, I guess. I mean, we called you here for a very specific reason. I am
Plumbing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my toilet's backed up.
That's what I'm here for.
No, I am
Also chess.
beset on. Yeah, Justin's been teaching me how to play chess, and I have not been learning. But I'm beset at all sides by everyone I know, because everyone's like, "Oh, CJ, you should start playing Warhammer. That would be a good thing for you. I think you would like that." As if it's like a pyramid scheme where like somehow you guys
We'll
like,
get more
you guys
points.
make more money or something if I join. And
Is this the male version of MLMs?
Yeah,
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 basically.
basically.
Women
It's-
always get conned into?
It is sort of like that. It's not that
Oh
I
my
make
God.
money. It's that I feel less bad about my investment in his expensive plastic.
Oh, so it's like an
That's
NFT.
related.
Okay.
Yeah.
There
It's more
you
like
go.
yeah. Now you got it.
I think we should maybe brainstorm some form of MLM because most MLMs target women
Mhm.
as
Yeah.
their primary demographic, and then most like NFT stuff target men. I think we should make our own MLM that does target men that combines
That's not
either
Cutco?
some sort of figurine gathering or like
Mhm.
card based card game or something,
We'll
and
make-
we just you're like, all right, we sell you in bulk and then you resell to all your friends.
That sounds pretty smart. We could do like
That just sounds like a trading card store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do that, but we'll
we do it better.
Yeah, we'll do it better.
I'm thinking we have little plastic like Joe Rogan as a barbarian and like Andrew Tate,
That
and
would
we
sell so well.
That's Donald Trump as well,
disgusting.
but we'll get sued.
Oh,
It's like
yeah,
those
yeah.
U2s or whatever.
Oh my god, it's just like that. If we did that and like made like an RPG around that would sell unspeakably well. And
Keep that for the Ludum Dare.
the question I have is that immoral because we are selling things to horrible people, or is it moral because we are taking money away from horrible people and
No,
we're
it's-
getting it?
Okay, no, it's
I think
definitely...
if we donate it to like Planned Parenthood afterwards.
no, not that.
Well,
no.
we're not going to do. We
We
want
keep
the
the
money.
money,
Yeah, we want the
yeah,
money.
You're missing
Oh.
the point.
Well, no. So most charities are very profitable, right? So it's just
Right.
we have to donate a nominal
Oh,
sum.
but we need to make our own charity.
Oh,
There
for
we
tax
go.
purposes.
Right.
We just
Yeah.
do that to avoid paying taxes.
I
That's
think
fine.
this is
Yeah.
a great idea. I think it's a little bit lessened by the fact that we are recording it and putting it on the internet. But at the same time, there's recordings of people saying the thing they're doing is a scam, and they still get to keep doing it. So
Yeah.
If
That is
anything, I
weird.
feel like that ups our odds because we'll have a lot
Yeah.
of people who are like, oh, well, I want to get in on the ground floor of a scam, so I'll join you guys.
What the hell is this
Mhm.
episode about? What are we talking about?
My
Plastic
understanding is
miniatures.
that it's little miniatures that you paint and battle with.
Is that true,
my
Justin?
Yes, that is true.
Take-
There's a lot more to it as
Take
well.
the wheel.
but yeah.
Justin, I don't know. Your credentials are you're good at games like Warhammer, so
Ah,
that's
chess.
it.
I'll
that's
take
why
that as a
you're that's why
credential.
you're here.
And
You're
Yes.
you're our expert
weights.
today.
I am your war master. today.
Oh, that's
Oh.
pretty good.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like lore master.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
That's good. Did you think of that
Alright.
ahead
On the
of time?
fly.
Oh
No.
wow!
Oh my God.
and good at comedy shit.
Oh,
Maybe
shit,
you should
we're
have been. Probably didn't need Ethan the whole time. I don't know.
Ouch.
No,
Little.
we're happy to have you, but I am not pleased with the topic because I do think I'm gonna get either angry or encourage. I feel like this is just gonna be another sales pitch to buy these little men.
Good news is you can buy them secondhand? Question mark.
Yeah, that's
quite
on
a
the
bit.
Facebook Marketplace.
It is cheaper, but
here's
not
the
a lot.
here's the thing about it, Fran, is when you make the little men, you are adding labor into them because they don't come made and painted.
You
Mhm.
can
So-
buy them second
I know.
hand. Made,
So if you buy them
Yes,
secondhand,
you can buy
they're
have
not
someone else
really
paint them.
they're not really cheaper because they are the things that you could have bought from the store, but have more transformative work done on them to make them better. So they are actually technically worth more now.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So my background of Warhammer, I first knew about Warhammer back in high school. Like, was I a freshman in high school? But in my friend group, they decided to not do Warhammer, but instead do War Machine. Are
Yeah.
you aware of War Machine?
Yes.
That's what my
So War Machine's like Warhammer, but it's pewter, like they're metal figurines, which made it
Yeah.
even
No
more expensive.
more,
and
but-
Warhammer was plastic, right?
it's
Don't eat tomatoes, right? Isn't that how you die with pewter? They made pewter plates and tomatoes made you poison.
Oh no, yeah, they died from lead
What are you
poisoning because of the
talking
tomato juices after the
That's-
Columbian
we're talking
Exchange. I know you're
deep
talking
lore.
about.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
like- that's
I'm
like
just telling
eight-
you
Oh,
how
all
to
the
not
elite
get poisoned by
Europeans
pewter,
died.
okay?
Don't
They
eat
thought tomatoes
Tomatoes
were
off of
poisonous.
pewter,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, we're
That killed
not-
like a
They thought
bunch of
tomatoes were
kings and
poisonous.
queens at one point.
I understand what you mean, Fran. My
Mhm.
coworkers also are big on War Machine.
Oh,
Yeah.
War Machine's still around. Oh, I didn't
Yes.
even realize it was still around. I thought it disappeared
yeah.
because
Oh,
Warhammer got
yeah.
so big.
Fran, wargaming is more popular than ever. Obviously, we're talking about it, and we only talk about popular things.
I mean,
Of, yes,
literally
very,
any-
very popular things. Like,
yeah, literally anything that can distract you from the end of the world has become increasingly popular in the last few
also
years.
because the nostalgia of millennials, they have money kind of now, but not
Correct.
actual money.
Yeah.
So-
Because we have been marketed to our whole lives since we were kids,
Yeah.
and we used to be spending our
90s,
parents'
man.
money, but now we're
Nostalgia.
spending our money, and they're like, "Hey, we can just keep marketing the same way. It keeps
Hence,
working."
I mean,
all
I
the
really want
Lego
to
sets.
surge like,
I
right now.
I don't
What
want
about
to
y'all?
talk about real world suffering anymore. I want to talk about space suffering.
Okay.
All right, Justin, take us. I need to know why do I care about these little men and their conflict? What stake do I have in all this?
So starting with just where they even came from was Games Workshop was made in like 1975. They started as an RPG with the Road Traders to kind of combat D&D. They wanted to have their own space travel one.
Hell yeah.
And then off of that world, they built the Warhammer 40,000 army battle, like skirmish starts.
So Warhammer came
Okay.
first.
Warhammer.
Is there a Warhammer that isn't 40,000?
Yes, there is the Age
Oh.
of Sigmar, which is a fantasy version. Which,
Hmm.
if you have played like the Total War games, that is based off of
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
We're
okay.
learning a lot now.
Yeah.
And where does StarCraft fit into all this?
That it does fit into this, surprisingly. So Blizzard and Games Workshop were working together to make a RTS, and
Mm.
Blizzard had put in a bunch of work, and then Games Workshop was like, you know what? No, we don't think this is gonna sell well. And they're like, well, we made everything, so we're just gonna make it our own. And they released
Oh.
StarCraft, and StarCraft
Oh,
did so
shit.
well. Then they're like, okay, maybe RTS is a good idea. Maybe we will make
too
one.
late.
We'll call it Dawn of War. And
Yeah,
and
everyone's
have our own
favorite
game.
RTS Dawn of War.
I actually I like them a lot.
I think
But-
it's good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it
pretty
is-
cool.
But we could have professional South Korean esports Warhammer players instead of StarCraft players.
I mean,
That almost has to
if they
exist,
didn't
right?
mess that
Right.
up.
But it is pretty funny that like they had that problem with Blizzard and cutting loose on StarCraft, And ever since then, their policy has instead been anyone can make a Warhammer video game, and as long as you guys give us a cut, we're fine with it.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of Warhammer video games out
Yeah.
there. Many of them are complete crap because
Yeah.
they're made by random so-and-sos.
They're
But
starting to get better.
some
They
of them
don't-
are really good.
Yeah, there's
the
about, well, I think
Nintendo
there's
seal
about
of approval.
59 of them by my count right now.
Yeah, are they
Um,
starting to get better, or is it just there's just so much out there statistically? Some of them must be good.
Meh.
I mean, yeah, what's the difference?
It's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. But yeah, they have made some very fun ones recently. Also, the lore of 40K is just so deep. There's over 600 books. There's 10 standalone tabletop games that I counted. Plus, there's like they made like a Risk. They made a Monopoly, which is kind of interesting.
I mean, if
'cause
you,
they-
if
I mean,
you
everyone
made a
has Monopoly.
yeah, you're
you're
set.
you're kind of you're good enough for the lore, you know.
Yeah.
Surely.
That's
the
hard.
That's how you
criteria.
should
That's
begin
the
a new
bar.
idea.
I would have to imagine almost every topic we've done has had a Monopoly, if only because
I don't think there's a battle royale Monopoly. There's
when
probably
I-
Fortnite Monopoly, so which might
I would
be like
say
a,
Fortnite kind of has
degrees of
Monopoly.
separation.
definitely counts, Fran. You know it does, and that it for sure exists.
Yes. When I told CJ
Oh
that
my
I wanted to
God, you
do
would buy like fucking Tomato Town and shit like that. I hate that.
Oh man. When CJ...
If that doesn't exist, we should make it.
Yes,
yeah,
no,
TM,
that's
TM,
That's a
TM.
good idea. That's a good run. But okay, so pull us in. It's a big universe. Who's in this big, gigantic universe?
Yeah.
Wait, so this franchise is like what, 40 years old now?
More.
yeah,
75, he said? So,
so yeah, about 40.
nearing 50.
Nearing 50, dang.
Yeah, you're
It's
right.
49.
Jeez,
No
man.
wonder there's so many books.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah.
I wonder if they're
Lore.
gonna do
So we're gonna
anything
go with
cool
50
for their
years of
50th.
lore? Oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't. Justin,
then
I don't know.
most-
about
In an hour, yeah. That seems
Yeah.
almost
I'm gonna
impossible.
try,
I said
my
to
man.
Justin.
Okay.
I forgot
all
we
right,
were going
let's
to
let
do
him. Let's let
goofs.
the man talk.
I didn't capitalize on goof time. All
I
right.
didn't think you guys would goof.
I
Silly
forget about
goof
goof time
boys.
too.
All
These
right.
boys.
Then let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's dig in.
So, and then I was gonna say, most famously, recently, Amazon purchased rights
Oh,
for
yeah.
it to create a movie and a series
Ugh.
headed by
Is it-
Henry Cavill,
Yeah. What's his
Oh,
face?
right.
Yeah.
Superman,
The Witcher.
yeah.
Yeah,
Former Witcher.
Superman.
Witcher,
Witcher.
all the nerds.
Now
That
they-
guy
and-
from that stream who built
really
a
buff
computer with
nerd
his
that's in
shirt off or
Hollywood.
whatever,
Yeah.
and everyone
And
drooled
buff
over.
nerds.
And
They're
soon
making
to
a
be
comeback.
God Emperor of Mankind.
Probably.
Is he
Nerds have
the-
money
is
now.
he gonna
And
be?
clout.
I don't know.
That's
He's-
what I think. Sid.
I think he's just gonna be some space marine.
My
or
gut
whatever.
says
See.
he's going to be a custody because that's the army he plays the most. And
Mm.
see.
Yeah, I don't
You
know
sure
if
he's
that's
not
how they're
doing
gonna cast it.
cameos?
Justin,
I mean,
but-
he's got a lot of creative freedom. But
Yeah,
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 I'm
I
sure
feel like
he's basically directing it from what I heard.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think for his most fun, he should just be producer, director, and all that stuff, and then just show up in every single army as a cameo.
Oh,
like,
all
and
pretty
then
fun.
they can release the new. They're like, oh, you have your armies or whatever, but we've remolded the armies for a new
Mhm.
run, and this one has Henry Cavill as all of the characters. And
Well,
then,
no,
every-
what
and
you
then
do-
everyone's like, ah, shit, I got to get the Henry
You-
Cavill set. The stats are the same, but he's the guy.
Better
He's the
idea.
Witcher, dude.
More profitable. You make them like the blind box things that are sweeping the nation. So you do Warhammer blind box figures. So they're
Mhm.
figures based on the new TV series, and then you have a 1 in 100 shot of pulling the Henry Cavill figure.
Fran, you should
that you can
stop
add to
making
your army.
ideas for other companies
Yeah.
to make money. We're trying to make money.
Are we?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't even know
Or
anymore.
is this part of our MLM?
Oh, okay.
Let's pitch it.
Okay.
All right.
Dig it. All right. So getting into the universe, actually, we're going to start with Hell. As it seems like a good
Great.
spot to start.
That's
How
we've done that a
Oh,
lot.
Yeah.
it's religion
fucking
and
times.
everything.
Yeah. Well, starting with Hell kind of puts a basis.
Surprised
to
we're
the
not starting with the
rest.
creation of the universe story.
No, it's not a creation of the universe. I don't
Oh,
know how
thank
that
God.
happened. Probably Big Bang or something.
I've learned so many of them.
But-
Probably the Big Bang.
I'd assume. I don't know enough about that. But in 40,000, there is a hell known as the Warp, also known as, it's got a bunch of names: Sea of Souls, the
Bad
Ether,
place.
the Ether, the bad place. Yeah.
The
I'm
no-no
just
zone.
gonna call it the Warp. And in the Warp, there's a realm of chaos with 3 different chaos gods. This is in the beginning of time. There is Korn, who is your
Corm.
Yeah, yeah. He's your
Corn.
standard like devil.
He plays like
Basically.
jam rock
Okay.
music.
He's
Same.
all about, if you've ever heard blood for the blood god, skull for the skull thrones, that's what this guy's about. He
Oh.
is the god of combat. He's the god of melee. He wants to fight in honor in front of him, face to face. And
Solid.
he's all about destruction.
Cool.
So
Love
that's
it.
one of the gods.
He lives in hell.
He lives in hell
Great.
on the skull throne.
Part
Okay.
of it.
And
Yeah.
the blood. The
blood. He's
god.
the blood god.
Right.
Yeah.
He sure does love blood.
He does love blood and skulls.
Same.
Then there's also Nurgle. He is
He's
your-
the silly god
Yeah.
about silliness.
kind of. Yeah, he's a little silly. He's the god of pestilence, plague, and decay and rot.
That's funny.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, real funny.
But the common like meme out there is, you don't need to change. Papa Nurgle loves you for who you are. He's like this big. He's always depicted as this big, like kind of chunky, horned figure in front, green as well, in front of a cauldron, like mixing up the newest plague or the newest
Right.
Fun.
like poison.
Yeah,
to be
I
out
mean,
there.
he looks like a bloated corpse with
Yeah.
extra mouths.
Yeah, and he lives.
Oh.
His part of the
Great.
of the realm of chaos is known as Nurgle's Garden, and it's very green.
Cute.
Not the normal kind of green. A lot more like pukey and toxic.
Toxic green?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
very
You
toxic green.
guys are not selling me on this guy as the like charming,
Yeah,
The-
fun-loving guy that I thought he was
The-
gonna
yeah,
be.
he is a pretty fun-loving guy.
The fun thing about I'm skipping a little bit ahead, but there are going to be people who worship these evil gods, right?
Yeah.
And the fun thing is the people who are like, I want to worship the puke god.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know those weekends where you just decide to go like goblin mode, and there's just trash everywhere. You
he's
haven't
the-
showered for
he's
a
the
couple
god of
days.
goblin
He's the
mode.
god of that.
Very
Yeah.
good. All right.
When you're
Then
That's why he's
I've
so
knelt at
appealing
his
to
altar
the
before.
demographic.
when you're in goblin mode, you're worshiping Nurgle.
Great.
Okay.
And
Hey
then
guys, you want to Nurgle out this
yeah.
weekend? Yeah,
That
brother.
sounds so good.
Yeah. And then the third chaos god at this point in time is
Oh my
Tzeentch. He is the god of deception and secrets, knowledge, and magic. There is
Sick.
magic in this world.
Because of him?
Kind of, yeah. You pull psychic magic from the warp itself. The warp is energy.
So
Okay.
hell is a sort of a nebulous energy that can be focused into a regular energy.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
pull.
it was also
you
called the
pull-
ether, so that makes sense.
When you are in the materium, the normal realm, you pull energy from the warp,
Alright.
which is dangerous
I can
because
take
if
that.
you
Because it could
do
open
that,
a
you
portal
could,
to
yeah,
hell
you could
and that
open a
stuff.
portal
Oh
to hell
my
and bring
God.
demons in.
Just
yeah.
When
watch
Doom
just
happens.
watch the Doom episode
Yeah.
for heaven's sake.
So those gods are in play then from the beginning of time. But now we're going to go to 60 million years ago.
Okay, so we were at the beginning of all things.
Yes, beginning of all things.
And now we're mere dinosaur times.
Yeah, we jumped ahead a lot. I thought.
Great.
That's actually really far ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
couple
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
that's like
years.
Alright.
that's like half of all time.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we could just skip that part. Nothing really happens.
There's just a bunch of gods floating around in
Yeah.
the ether.
There's some dinosaurs.
There's a lot of
I've
puking
heard.
and fighting. Yeah. They don't talk about the dinosaurs that much, but I feel like that would be a great faction to add.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just have dinosaurs.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
They all worship Tzeentch. They were very magical. The
Yeah.
dinosaurs.
Wow.
So 60 million years ago, there was a, they call them Xenos species in Warhammer, an alien species known as the Necron tier. They lived on a planet that was very irradiated.
Mm-hmm.
So their average life expectancy was about 30 years old. Their tombs and their crypts were bigger than their cities. And they thought, well, the best thing to do is seek the stars. So they spent all their time trying to build to escape their planet.
That's crazy to
Yeah.
me. Like that a species could like evolve enough while it's constantly dying. Like if I died now, I would have contributed nothing to the
To
rest
space.
of my species.
But
Right.
counter CJ, if people died when they were 30, the boomers would all be gone.
That's true. And I probably wouldn't go to college. So
Right.
there's another 4 years I've reclaimed.
Yeah.
Man, that's a lot of money that you would reclaim too.
I know. You know what? This is sounding better and
Yeah.
better. Tell me more.
Yeah. So they ended up in their space odyssey running into a species known as the Old Ones. They are depicted a lot as giant frogmen, which I love. They're
Cool.
Great.
Zoop boys.
Zoops.
The
yeah.
Zoops, the
Yep.
big Zoopers.
Yeah, and they are immortal. They're kind of
Hell.
very, very powerful, functionally immortal.
Elf
I should
immortal?
Say. Yeah. There's
Okay.
So you can
There's
kill
a-
them.
yes, you can kill them, but they're functionally immortal. If nothing else tries to kill them, they will live forever.
Like cancer.
Yeah.
Sure. I recently saw Jurassic Park for the first time, and I did not know that part of the plot was that they spliced frog DNA into
Yes.
the
Dino
Dino
DNA.
DNA.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
which is very
That's
silly.
that's why they can reproduce.
That's why they can
Yeah.
reproduce even though they're all
Mhm.
ladies.
Yes.
So
Okay.
trans heroes,
yeah,
frog
From,
dinosaurs.
from like
Be
40,
whatever you want to be.
30 years ago. That's pretty
That's
progressive.
very
actually.
progressive. It's actually exactly 30 years ago.
Yeah.
The movie came out when I was born.
But yeah, so they ran across these old ones and they asked if they could help, if they could give them immortality. And the old ones said, "Piss off. We are not giving you immortality.
Fair.
Go
Yeah.
home."
We're awesome, dude. Look at
Yeah.
us. Look at you guys. You're pathetic.
Right. So the
Cry
Necrontyr
about
did
it.
the only sane thing and declared war on them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fair. Yep.
And
Yep,
we're
that's what I expect.
Completely sidetracking their original thing to get off of their dying
Yes,
planet.
yep.
Well, I mean, they just learned about immortality, CJ.
they need to take it, right?
Right.
So then
And the only way to take it is by force.
Guys, we met God in space and we've decided to wage war on them.
very, very normal. Yeah.
I mean, he's not there yet. Give him another minute.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait for this.
Yeah, all right.
So then they get mollywopped, just absolutely destroyed, sent back to their planet. And the Necrontyr end up running into another species, a godlike species called the Catan. And the Catan eat stars.
And,
They are
and
that
they,
powerful.
they
that
make a board game.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Out of hexagons.
It's spelled a little different, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
basically the basis.
Okay.
They eat stars, and they also are immortal. And they come to Zarek,
Well, they probably would be
the
fake.
king of the Necrontyr, and say, "Hey, we can give you immortality. Oh, and those old ones, we can make you powerful enough to destroy them." And they're like, "Yep, sign me
deal.
up." They hit that.
That's all of the things we wanted
Yeah,
to do.
you're right.
That's-
Two
I
birds,
can't
one
even,
stone.
I can't
baby.
even see any downsides to this.
No.
So they hit accept on that Apple agreement, and they're like, "Sold. I'm not going to read this." And then it turns out that what they end up doing is the Catan devour the souls of the Necrontyr, take what is left of their like cognitive functions, and put them in robots, making
Nice.
them technically immortal.
Yeah, that's a classic
All right.
little bargain, a
Yeah.
little demon bargain.
Yep.
It's like, oh yeah, I'll make
They
you
didn't
immortal.
lie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Soul's mine though.
Yeah, I eat your soul. You get.
I
You're
thought
now
they
you're
ate
an automaton.
stars. Are stars bunches
Souls?
of souls?
Well, we as
In
people
some
eat many
universes.
things. They're omnivores.
I see.
alright?
They just eat whatever.
Yeah, soul,
Stars
stars.
are like their main
something with
diet, but
Yeah.
souls, you
Is
know, like
souls made of hydrogen? Do they
No,
eat hydrogen?
souls, but so like souls are made. I'm not sure if they're directly made of, but souls are like the connection to the warp
Yeah.
for any
Oh.
living thing. So there are a lot of creatures throughout the universe who they want more souls because
that-
that lets them have more
Power.
When
psychic warp power.
When
Yes.
you die, do you go to the warp?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
everyone just does. You just go to hell.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, if you have a soul.
If you have a
if
soul.
you have a
you
right,
have a
well,
soul.
if you don't have a soul,
There
you just
are-
fucking turn
there
off
are
like we do. and
parts
it's
in
over.
the warp that
Like
are
us,
not
yeah.
controlled by chaos, but a lot of it is controlled by chaos.
Great.
So they are functionally immortal, and then they are turned loose in a war in heaven, is what it's called. The last 200,000 years between the Catan and the Necrons, as they are now called.
Wait, they're
and-
fighting the Catan?
No, those two are together are fighting
Oh.
the old ones.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And the old ones, with their power, try to defend themselves by making other Xenos races or species to defend themselves.
Okay.
Like that's where
Okay.
we end up getting the orcs and the Eldar, which are elves, space elves.
So they're like, fuck. They have we made fun of these cringe lords.
Yeah.
And then our mortal enemy, I guess. I
Yeah.
assume they're enemies. went and made them into a war species.
Into
and,
war chads.
and,
Yeah.
and now they're going to fight us. So we need to make our own boys so that we can have little minifigs we can paint and stuff too. And then
Yeah.
we'll just have them fight each other so that we don't get murked.
Yeah.
It's always proxy wars.
So
Yeah.
when you are
These
playing
things.
the game, are you filling the role of like the old ones?
No.
It
Oh,
depends.
okay.
Like, not really, but I guess you could imagine
No,
that.
again, we're,
the
we're
old
still
ones.
60 million years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The old
it's really
ones.
evolved since then. Yeah.
Well,
Right.
we're 200,000 years ahead of that now.
Okay.
You're right.
We're 59 million,
we're 59
800,000
I'm
years.
just
9
saying, we're
million.
jumping pretty big there.
800,000.
Yeah, yeah.
Great. We'll get through this in no time.
Yeah, yep.
Hey, tell me about them orcs.
So the orcs, they're the goofiest of the Xenos race. Actually, of everything in there. They love war. They're
Yeah.
all about fighting.
Yeah,
They
that's what
think
they're made
all other species are dumb because they deal with politics, they deal with bureaucracy, and they should just be fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
That's what politics is.
Lots-
Right. But they are singular on the fight physically. They love
Hell
to be
yeah.
in battle. And the more of a fight you give, the more orcs you're going to attract. They love it.
Okay.
They are actually the fungus people. They're made of they're big mushroom men. That they're green like
Huh.
a normal orc, but their biology is fungus.
Is fungus?
Uh-huh.
That's
All
such
right.
a weird thing to put
Well,
in there.
The reason is, CJ, because orcs just reproduce by like
Budding.
sporing.
Yeah,
Oh my
yep.
God.
By
So-
spores.
So
my
they literally
God.
don't even fucking fight. They just
fight.
fight.
They
They
all
just
they
fight.
care about is fighting.
They
And
only
If
so-
you
fight.
cut an orc in half, do you get 2 orcs?
Eventually.
Yeah, as I say,
God.
depends.
But yeah, so that's like the big useful thing that orcs can do is that like you throw a couple of them on a planet and then you will have
An
billions
army?
of
Yeah,
them.
yeah, yep.
Great.
It's like the bunnies
Yeah,
in
your
Australia.
planet just got athlete's foot. Good luck.
Amazing.
You got
Hey,
war
good on the old
athletes
ones for
for it.
making them, though. That's smart on their
Yeah.
part.
Yeah, the old ones seem like they've got a pretty good handle on things in
They
general.
were trying. So the orcs, there's theories that they have some sort of passive or dormant connection to the warp, because if they believe in something enough, it just happens. So they have this kind of
They can manifest.
they have this.
Yeah, they can manifest.
They have this kind of color scheme where if they paint something red and believe it goes fast, it goes faster. If
Oh,
they
hell yeah.
paint something blue, it's, I believe, more resilient. If they paint it yellow, it's worth more because,
Yellow
Currency?
is like gold.
well, no, you would
This is how
think
you
that.
crash an economy.
You would think that, but the currency of the orcs is teeth. The more teeth you have, or the bigger teeth you have, the more money you have. So their
God.
currency is all about teeth, but they say teeth with a F.
Teeth. It's like
Yeah.
literal
Ooh.
teeth.
Yeah.
I assume
Yes,
of
physical teeth.
people.
Yes, they have of anyone.
Yeah, of
Sure.
any type and any
Uh,
size.
But yeah, I
Okay.
guess at teeth it's worth saying all orcs have a Cockney accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all. Oh, I'm gonna turn into
Teeth.
100,000 orcs
Yeah.
I'm
right
gonna
now.
crump them humies.
Yeah, yes. They speak very much like that. It is great.
Goodness.
I think they're fairly delightful. Their currency system doesn't make sense, but Lizzie and I watched.
What currency does?
Yeah, Lizzie and I watched this one Rankin Bass like Christmas animated thing, like the stop motion, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed
Sure,
Reindeer,
sure.
but we watched the Jack Frost one, which neither of us had seen
Mm.
before. It is very weird, and the townspeople live under like a Russian Tsar who's like evil to them, and they love it when it snows because when it snows, they turn the snow into currency, and then they have money for the first time ever because otherwise the Tsar takes it all. And I'm like, I don't think you guys understand what an economy is. You can't just print your own money and be fine, but they can, and they do it every year.
they
So
can.
maybe I don't understand
Money
what an
is in
economy
fact not real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I guess the orcs have the best handle
It's
on
backed.
it than
Yeah,
anything.
it's backed by
Mhm.
the fact that it's in mouths, I guess. That they
Yeah,
can
I
keep
mean
hitting.
it is a technically limited supply.
It is a technically limited supply.
It's kind of like Bitcoin.
Yeah,
There's-
it's almost exactly
Where,
like Bitcoin.
instead of
Yeah.
GPUs,
If
it's
orcs
just your
got
physical
really
brute
into-
They just
strength.
physically mine it from your
If-
skull.
Yeah, as
Do you
opposed to
think-
digital.
Okay, do you think it was a bunch of orcs who did like the NFT thing because they're like, well, it's got value. I like it.
They
It's-
believed
I
in it
colored it
enough
yellow.
that it came
And
true.
then people started
They
putting
believed in
money.
it.
People started throwing money into it. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
probably what happened.
Yeah,
right?
no, it's very good. So there are a few different like clans of orcs, and one of them is like the rich clan because their teeth grow faster.
Yeah.
Hell, and they just knock them out.
Yeah.
and they just knock them out. But it is also it's not considered an unfair advantage in orc society because if you want some more money, you can just track down someone from that clan and beat their teeth out of their
Yeah.
face.
Yep.
Yeah.
Seems fair.
Yeah.
They're a real by the strength of your own back kind of people.
Yeah, definitely.
Could they just like capture one of the orcs who's maybe like
And
a
milk
family of
him,
orcs
like his
whose
teeth?
I don't want to think
come
about
out
milking
quickly,
orcs.
and then they just keep
Fran,
them
you don't
alive
always have to
enough
come
for
up with the
teeth to-
most vile like saw traps every time.
She's gonna fit right in this
Every time we
universe.
bring up a new concept, you always go immediately to like, why would they simply not torture them for their money?
I guess that she's
I
gonna
feel
do
like
great.
torture's not against their society.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
I feel like I'm within their rules at this point.
Yeah.
All right.
So that they do have that. Another color scheme thing is purple is stealth because who's ever seen a purple orc? No one.
Yeah.
So
Ah, fair.
it makes sense.
Never have.
So when they're like making new technology,
Mhm.
quote unquote, they're literally just like putting stuff together, and in their minds they're like, yeah, this works.
Yeah.
And then because they believe it works, it just does.
Yeah, because there's been Imperium tech priests who have gotten some of their ships and they're like, there's no way this should fly. There's no way this should have left a planet, but it did, and it worked.
So orcs
they
just
just
believed they
believe.
could make a spaceship. They made something that kind of looks like a spaceship and painted it
Red,
spaceship
probably.
color,
Love
and
it.
then it just went off into space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
Great.
They also are led by the largest orc, and the more people who believe that you are big, the bigger you get as well. It's very
Mhm.
like cyclical
Justin
in that nature.
desires this.
Yeah. The bigger you are, the bigger you get. It's great.
Wow.
As long as people believe.
As long as people
So-
believe that you're a big boy.
Yeah.
When the orcs like spore off or like multiply, I
don't-
guess,
well, I
do they
don't
start
like
as
that term,
small
sporing
orcs?
They
off.
call it corking, Fran.
Yeah.
Sure,
It's
great.
when an orc
Do they
comes.
start as
Yeah.
small orcs and then
Yeah,
get
they
bigger?
they
or-
get bigger over time. They don't stop growing, kind of like fish and plants, I guess.
Okay,
A lot of
so they do
plants
start off as like mini orcs.
Yeah,
and
there's
then-
little.
Weary that fish thing, but whatever.
The older the fish is, the bigger it gets. They don't stop growing. That's why, like, yeah, it's true.
There's some fish that are like that.
It's such a like dinosaurs have two brains thing you just said.
All right, let's,
You look up fish later. We'll do that.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know if they say exactly how it works with like some of them growing, because I don't think Gretchens grow into orcs, but they have a size cast, and there are a different like subspecies of orcs are little goblins that are called Gretchens,
Mhm.
and because
Okay.
they're small, they are at the bottom of the hierarchy.
Yeah.
and then you can just keep them and take their teeth.
Yeah.
Right?
It does
Yeah, but they
happen
have small
actually a
teeth.
lot. They have small teeth, so they're not worth
There
as
you go.
much.
Oh,
Yeah.
the size of the tooth matters also.
Yes.
Mhm.
in terms of
Size
currency.
and the
I thought it was
amount.
just terms of quantity.
If you got one
both.
big dragon tooth, that's just like you're set, right?
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
pretty rad.
That is
Nice.
pretty rad.
Got it.
How
So
do you
that's
change?
most of
I don't
orc.
I think I can
uh,
blend into orc society.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
go.
kind of
We can
most
figure
of
it out.
orc society. They never really have a empire that has expanded the galaxy. They just like fighting.
Yeah.
And yeah, if they believe in stuff enough, it comes true.
So they don't exist to like defend the old ones, but the old
No.
ones made them, and they just figured, if they're just running around fighting stuff, it'll probably
Yeah.
help us out.
Yeah, I mean,
It'll all figure it out. It'll all
there
balance
is-
out in the end.
I seem to recall that there is also some there's some people who believe that maybe they were of a more specific purpose back then, and 58 million years has kind of just like
Change that.
changed that and left them nothing but the fighty boys.
I like that.
Yeah, there's a story. There's a couple. I'll do one for sure here. Of this group of orcs that flew into the Eye of Terror, which the Eye of Terror is a rip into the warp from the
Okay.
Materium. They flew in there to fight demons and try and like take over the Skull Throne. They just wanted the best fight they could possibly get.
Hell yeah.
So they got in there and they fought all these demons in front of Khorne, and Khorne loved it so much they're doing like a Valhalla, we raise you from the dead every day to fight in front of me kind of deal every time. So Khorne loves the orcs, but they don't worship him. He just loves that they
That's probably
brings
why
him souls.
That's a good lesson for everyone out there. Is like, if you just are true to yourself, people will notice.
Yeah.
You don't have to worship them,
Right.
in order for them to, you know.
You do you.
Yeah,
You know?
people like sincerity.
That's inspirational, CJ.
Yeah,
Tell me-
are the orcs the good guys?
I would say some people would say so.
They
Great.
do like to invade and kill people.
Are
a lot,
the
so
nec-
they're good guys.
Are
if
the
not.
Necrons
I think they're
the
just more
good
chaotic.
guys?
That's.
I mean,
hard
we
to
can answer
tell.
no every time, but
We'll
let's-
find the
We're
good
gonna
guy.
we're gonna
eventually.
jump back to the Necrons.
Okay,
quick.
we'll find the good guys. Don't worry.
So during the War in Heaven, they killed all of the old ones, made them extinct.
Oh,
And then we're still stuck in servitude to the Catan. But the Catan started infighting, as gods do,
sure.
using their newfound toys to fight each other. But Zarek, the Silent King, as he is known, did not forget, because he was the one who made the deal. He was able to have enough sentience to rally the Necrons to fight the Catan and revolt.
So he was like, all right, kill these gods. And then they were like, cool, we did it. And he's like, all right, kill these other gods that
Yeah.
told you to kill those gods. And they're like, yeah, whatever, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're pretty good at killing gods, turns out.
It turns out
Yeah.
it's you made us this
But-
way, Dad.
Yeah, but the Catan are not just functionally immortal, they're more like perpetual immortal.
Oh,
So what they
Oh.
couldn't kill
Makes it a
them,
little
but
more
they
difficult.
were able to break them into shards and put them in their
Huh.
weapons and lock them away.
cool.
So a lot of Necron weapons are part of a god being used.
So is it like
That's pretty metal. I like that.
yeah.
is it? I mean, it is very metal, first off, but is it kind of like this is the most epic weapon because it has a god shard in it? Or was it like, yeah, we have toothbrushes, like electric toothbrushes now that have a
With
little
gods,
god
yeah.
energy
Like
in
that.
them?
I think
Yeah.
it's a little more like that. yeah.
Amazing.
Well, they needed to spread out as many of the gods as they could in these
Sure.
shards and
So
lock
they're
them
just
away.
like, oh, my pistol has a god in it, and
Yeah.
I don't really use it, but
yeah.
I have one.
Yeah.
It's a lot like
You'd rather
that.
have one and not need it than need
Do
one
they
and
just
not
like
have it.
chip off? Is there like a big god glacier that they just chip more god off when they need new stuff, or is it just they have separated them? The stuff that's out there is all.
all there is.
All there is.
And they've locked it, kind of separate so they can't turn back into their forms to then eat
Yeah.
stars and destroy
Okay.
them.
Right.
But the all of the infighting and all of fighting multiple gods left the Necrons pretty weak, and turns out that Eldar group that the old ones made are pretty good at killing Necrons. So they went into stasis waiting for the Eldar, who are starting to the upcomers of the galaxy, to inevitably fall.
they're just like,
We're just gonna wait
man,
this one out."
All empires fall eventually. If we just sleep this one out,
Yeah.
we will be fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get the
Alright.
next
So
one.
yeah, I mean,
So the old ones made the orcs and the space elves, but the space elves are in stasis, not doing
No,
shit.
the
No.
Necrons
The
are in
Necrons go
stasis.
back into stasis because the elves are
Oh.
really good at killing the Necrons.
and the
Got it,
orcs are
okay.
just about.
Yeah, they just like to.
Right.
They just do shit.
Yeah, the elves were like, so they're a powerful enemy for the Necron, but we're kind of like a slow startup because they don't spore like orcs do. So they
Yeah.
weren't able to like immediately beat the Necrons, but they were
Got it.
slowly building a space empire.
Over
So-
So the old one's
200,000
legacy
years.
lives on.
So the Necron tier, which is a crazy name
Mhm.
to have before any of this stuff happened, but whatever. They made a deal to turn into Necrons, which are just full machine people with their consciousness inside of it.
Yeah.
They served the Catan guy, and now they're getting their ass kicked by elves, so they entomb themselves in a
Yeah.
bunch of
Tomb
like,
worlds,
there's
actually, is
tomb
what they're called.
worlds.
Yeah, they're
Iron-
called tomb worlds.
iron sarcophagi,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they're just gonna wait this one out.
Yeah.
And they got
Okay.
rad like Matrix style bug robots that go all around the tomb worlds and just protect them from random assholes.
Yeah, I
right.
I know of this because you were mentioning the video games. I played the Warhammer 40K XCOM-esque game, and you play as a bunch of Mechanicus.
Yeah, they
who
love
shoot-
tomb worlds.
who go to the tomb worlds, and then they realize that all these guys are waking up, and they're like, "Fuck."
All right,
Mhm.
CJ,
This
you're
is
getting
bad.
you're
Getting
59
ahead.
million
Yeah, you're
800,000
getting ahead.
years ahead of us.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I was just excited. I knew something for once.
Yes. So that is the fate of the Necrons at that point.
For now.
For now. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we have some boys. We have orcs, elves, whatever they're fucking called,
Yep. The Eldar.
the Necrons,
and the Necrons. Yes.
and we
Old ones are
the
dead.
old gods are dead. Long live the new guy.
Hell yeah.
Those one specific group of old
Catan's
gods.
dead
are-
also.
Two of them. Well, one's
Oh, that's
dead,
right,
and the
two-
other one is like locked up in
Mhm.
weapons and things.
Right.
So
Nurgle's still having a great time
he-
over there.
They're actually
Yes.
having the best
Did
time.
because they're getting all these
They're
souls,
getting all these
right?
souls, like trillions
Yeah.
of
So
souls
wait,
over
even
200,000
though,
years.
so orcs bud, but they still have souls. So when they reproduce, they make new souls from themselves.
That's how
Yeah.
we do it too. Yes.
Yeah.
But we
Well, I guess that's more of a philosophical
So-
question. Do you believe that a plant has a soul?
I
Are
don't.
fungi plants?
No.
Well, I guess
Thank
not.
you for that
Yeah, you know what,
clarification,
that's
friend.
good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hold
you know
on,
what?
I'm
You know what?
referencing the tree of life right now. No, different branches. Turns out. So,
Damn. Yeah, you got me.
well spotted, Fran. So, do plants have souls? No. Do fungi have souls? Almost certainly.
I guess. Yeah.
Right. Turns out.
Take
yes.
that, vegetarians eating your fucking mushrooms, your shiitakes, thinking that no one is suffering.
As they scream.
Yeah,
All
But
right.
yeah. So
shoutakes.
Let's,
Yeah, so
let's
that- so-
talk space elves.
yes, we
Please
can.
do.
So the space elves. We're now actually jumping a good chunk of time. We're getting closer to present day and up to the 15th millennia. That's when the elves empire.
Are we talking about present day, like us
Today,
right
yeah,
now?
like
Okay.
right now. Right now, space elves are ruling the galaxy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
shit.
we're where are we? We're like 59,750,000 years in the future.
Oh, okay.
No,
More than
not. Well,
that.
yeah, I get. Well, 15 millennia. What is that? 16. I don't know. Yeah, 16 million years.
What do they
Or
measure?
1,000 years.
What do
1,000
they,
years.
what do they-
1,000 years.
15,000
Fif-
years ago.
Yeah. So yeah, like 50. So
We jumped from 60 million years ago to 15,000 years in the future.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all
just a
15,000
nominal jump
years of our future.
yeah.
Okay,
of AD.
Okay.
because
after
it's we're not
death,
to
after death. or
we're
whatever.
not to the 40K yet.
No,
We're at
we're not there.
15K right now.
Yeah, we're at
I see.
15K.
And
Got it.
what are they still measuring time from the birth of Christ?
Yeah,
Is
yes,
that what I'm to
yeah,
believe?
Yeah, that's what you are to believe.
That's
yes.
fantastic.
Yes,
All right.
yeah.
So that religion happened in this universe, but it was so inconsequential that by 15,000 years after Jesus was born, people are over it. They're
I
back
mean,
to worshiping chaos gods.
Conspiracy theories would tell you that maybe the emperor of mankind was also Jesus.
Oh.
But I don't
Oh.
think, I
don't
don't think
know
there's
if you
any
should be
lore for that.
Spreading such salacious rumors
Right?
on my podcast, Justin.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you know what? You might get a lot of hate in the comments for that one.
I
Oh,
want
this
to
is-
hear about the space
All right.
elves.
You've elevated this podcast from merely insulting to blasphemer.
Hell yeah.
Uh,
We'll talk
So-
which
heresy
we
later.
do in
Yeah.
every episode,
Yeah.
I think.
That's
So,
right.
Yes.
so the space elves, the Eldari, as also known, they built this huge empire, this galactic empire that where they didn't need any thing, pretty much. All of their needs were covered. They had a way to do fast travel without going through the warp, because normally you kind of have to go through
So-
hell to
Mm.
travel from one side of space to another.
Yeah, so
They
we didn't
made
really,
one called the
so we
Webway.
didn't really talk about that, but like
Yeah.
some factions have warp travel,
Yes,
which,
yes.
which is like as we would expect it to be, which is probably where the name actually came
The
from.
warp?
The
Yeah,
warp,
yes,
is
yeah.
like you.
Yeah.
It's like Event Horizon. You go through a portal and you end up in a different place, but you have to go through hell to do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Correct.
amazing.
Yes, you
a
have
lot
to go
of
through
new
hell.
ideas floating around.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I mean, I want to be clear that this is another one of those ones where Warhammer has been around for a while, and a lot of this shit that we're talking about ripped it off from Warhammer
yeah,
and
for
not the other
sure.
way around.
There's
Fair
going
enough.
to be a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean,
especially with the
Dungeons and
humans.
Dragons ripped off Lord of the Rings, which ripped off Dungeons and Dragons when it came back around to do movie stuff. Like
Right.
it's all. Listen, if Tolkien probably is 90% of this shit at this point. Somehow, I don't know.
If you
exactly
ain't
how,
ripping,
but-
you ain't winning. That's
yeah,
all I hear.
sure.
Uh,
Are these Eldar? Which is a dumb name, but are they
Most names,
immortal? Like how
yes,
elves
they-
normally are?
yes, they are
Okay.
functionally immortal. They can be
They
killed.
can be killed, but they don't die of old
Yes.
age.
Yep. Yeah, and they
Got it.
created
We'll
a
call
way.
that, we should have a term for that compared to other immortal. Let's say soft immortal and hard immortal.
I tend to say functional and then perpetual, but yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
sure.
I dig yours too.
I got you.
I'll take it.
So
Um,
they're
functionally
immortal.
Yeah, they will not die unless killed. And they created a way to fast travel that didn't involve the warp called the Webway. Much safer. They even built a city in it called Camera.
Oh, so is this just a different dimension that
Yeah.
not hell that you can travel through and
Yes.
it does the same thing?
It's kind
Really
of
smart.
It's kind of in between.
Smart.
It's like there's
Absurd.
the material realm, there's the warp, and there's the Webway. In
What
between.
is the density of universes? Is there always a universe between any two universes, or are these just the ones?
These are
It's like
just
a
the
number
ones.
line.
It's these
Okay,
three.
sure.
It's these
All
three.
right.
We're not
Okay.
gonna get any more.
So there's
All
a discrete number of universes,
Yeah.
and they've pretty
That's
much
good.
figured them out probably,
Yes.
unless
yeah.
they add a new one first because they want to.
Yes,
Right. Yeah.
for
But as
reasons,
of
I
recording
love lore,
today, there's
Ethan.
3. So with all of their needs met, they started doing more art, doing more music, they're being more sexual. They're very
Hell yeah.
emotional based
Oh,
creatures.
Oh my
This
goodness.
And they end up getting to where all of their art, music, and sex are kind of combining, and then even
Just
so,
like me.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
this is they're very much this is like height of Rome.
Yeah,
type
they're
stuff, right, where they're,
trying-
like debauchery everywhere.
yeah,
Hell
they're
dude.
trying to feel excess as far as they can. They're pushing the bounds
Ooh.
to where their art and their sex
Sounds
also
dangerous.
has pain and or most of the time death at some point, and a lot of these souls start feeding the warp. So they
Whatever, man.
over
This was-
time.
This was, by the way, the exact plan the Necrons had. They're just like, if we
We're
just
gonna-
let these freaks be for a while,
Yeah,
they are
they-
going to become soft and
Yeah.
then hard.
Yeah,
Listen,
exactly.
Listen, the Necrons were smart boys. They
Yeah,
were like,
they do.
those boys
could
over
s-
there feel feelings, so we'll wait that out, and that'll be their downfall for
Eventually,
sure.
the feelings are going to make them weird and easy to kill.
Yes, exactly.
Amazing.
So the more they pushed those bounds, the more debauchery they'd had. It got worse and worse. Some Eldar got onto these continent-sized ships called craft worlds and just jetted out. They're like, we're done with this. They see the writing on the wall of what's happening.
Yeah, we're going to have our own just big planet.
Yeah.
Planet-sized orgy in this big spaceship.
Right.
These guys are the good guys,
Yeah.
right?
We'll see. The more they pushed, the more the bounds they pushed, the worse it got, to a point where they birthed a new chaos god known as Slanesh. She who thirsts.
They
Oh, thirst.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah.
They fucked so hard they made a new god.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that
Damn.
god instantly devoured 90% of their souls.
Which they probably were into.
Yeah. So the ones on the craft worlds survived and the ones in Camera survived.
I mean, come on, that one writes itself.
Right. Since they are in the Webway, they were safe from it. But they still have to keep doing these debauchery acts to
So-
survive. Those are known as the Drakari or the Dark Eldar.
Yeah.
So the
Okay.
web world is literally out of reach of the chaos gods. They can't
Correct.
like intersect with
Mhm.
it
Correct.
because
Yes.
the materia and the chaos of the warp intersect.
Yeah.
There's a
So-
couple rips. in it.
Interface via souls, but the
Yeah.
web world is like off on its own thing. If
Yeah.
you die in the webway, are you
Do you not
Are
go
you
to hell?
are you just floating around there like you have nowhere to go?
Great question. I don't
so
know that.
I guess I don't know why you would die in the
I know
web
a
way.
little
Yeah.
bit about the Dark Eldar, the Drukhari, so I can fill in that. I would presume you do go to the warp, and the reason why is that so when Slaanesh was created, 90% of the elves, they just died, right? Their souls were absorbed by this new god.
They
birthing.
literally fucked so hard they made a new god and it immediately vored them.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
The remaining elves have also, like, their souls have still been, like, weakened by this experience, right? The Dark Eldar, they figured out a way to, instead of having their own souls be slowly drained away by Slaanesh, if they spread suffering and pain to others to feed Slaanesh, they can keep their own souls intact.
Yeah.
So do they
So-
worship Slaanesh? They're like doing it for them, or they're literally just like, there's a physical property that if I make other people have a bad time, I get to keep living forever.
It's that one much more so. They're very self-involved. And yeah, these are the one of the BDSM mommy groups that we were talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
because
Hey,
they
Got
are
it.
They worship. They don't worship Big Mommy, but they do anything she asks because they are good little fucking pay pigs who does what mother tells them to.
there's a lot of hooks and chains and spears.
You guys
on their
can't
models.
see all of Ethan on this couch, but I see he's getting a little
Excited.
worked up.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, he is.
It's making me quite honestly uncomfortable.
I need that.
I
I need
didn't
that
know-
pillow.
I didn't know I was going to get Epstein
Yeah.
here.
How many
So-
episodes do you think?
That I brought up Epstein. They just released the Epstein thing.
Right.
It's a meme
It's
that
topical right now.
I
It's
sent-
a meme that keeps giving. What
I
can
sent
say?
Ethan a meme the other day that like Slaanesh was on the Epstein list.
just in Slaanesh.
Yeah, yep.
Revealed to be on the Epstein.
Yep,
list.
exactly.
It all comes back around,
Mm-hmm.
just like a good orgy.
Yeah. The Eldar, so just functionally, they move much faster than humans. They see us moving in slow motion. They're like, why is it going
so
so
their
slow?
perception is faster.
Yes, their perception is much, and reaction time is much
Mhm.
faster. And they have a derogatory term for humans that is Monkai, MONK
I don't-
apostrophe EIGH.
Can we say that on that?
So that is two other parts of their world. The speed part comes into play on the tabletop a lot. They are fast moving, hard hitting glass cannons a lot of the time. And then
So,
the Drakari
although
are
they
even
have-
faster. and
Although they
more
have
glass
excellent reaction times, that doesn't prevent them from getting shot
cannons.
with
Right.
bullets.
Yeah, bullets are pretty fast.
Yeah.
Turns out.
My
Especially
reaction time is that of a CS2 gamer
Yeah.
pro. It's
Yeah.
like, wow. But if you put an actual
Those-
gun in
yeah.
their hands and then have people shoot at them, it's like,
Those-
oh
they're
no.
not gonna dodge it. Yeah.
Those 50 soldiers looked really slow as they were pulling the trigger,
Yeah.
but then also many bullets came
Well,
my
Yeah,
way.
I noticed them aiming directly at my heart and shooting me, but my physical body can't move as fast as my thought boy mind can think.
Well,
So I did just get
and-
shot and felt pain for what felt like an eternity for me.
The bullets that humans use at this point are the size of monster cans, and they have a rocket propelled, so they
Those
are
aren't really
even
bullets
faster.
anymore.
They're
Those are
huge
missiles.
Yeah, they're huge
Those are
rocket
huge.
propelled missiles that.
Yeah.
So it's hard to dodge those.
That is the least efficient way to deliver a payload.
CJ,
by
you
the
sound
way.
so stupid
Yeah,
right
I'm
now.
sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
dummy.
Uh,
Uh,
Hey,
Anyway.
hey, boss, these elves, they keep dodging our attacks. Make them bigger and faster. Put little rockets on them.
So that is, the Eldar in a nutshell. Their empire has crumbled. There are only craft worlds left, and there are the Dark Eldar that are trying to spread torment and
So that
more
they can
debauchery
keep living
so they
forever.
can keep
Yeah.
living. Yes.
Are
Yep.
the people in the web world are like safe from the... Like,
That's
they
where
don't-
most of the Drakari are.
The Dark Eldar.
Yeah, they have
Oh,
their city
okay.
in there.
So they- okay.
Yeah, so they are not fully safe.
They're still
That's
getting their
kinda safe.
souls sucked a little
Yeah,
bit.
yep.
Yeah,
I
it's
see.
still suck just a little bit.
We can now move on to humanity.
Oh, finally,
Us.
someone I can relate to.
Yeah,
The good guys.
Maybe.
Surely these guys
Surely.
are going
Hopefully
to
not.
put everything back. Surely just one or two strong men will come put everything back in the place that it should be and restore Christ as the central figure of what we believe in.
CJ, you're so close to right.
Pretty much. So humanity starts to rise in the 15th millennia. They start, they terraform the solar system. They start getting intergalactic travel. They learn about warp travel.
So we're led to believe that humanity is literally just as we are now, but in 13,000 years from now, we figure out space travel and we're all over the place.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we figure out that there's actually like space elves and orcs and shit like that.
Right,
Right.
yeah. So it's I think it's the kind of thing where we were, we had space technology up to, a point you would expect, but we figured out warp travel in the 15th century.
and
so
we like streamlined terraforming too.
Okay, and so that's when we're
Mhm.
like, all right, time to go manifest some destiny, boys.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
This is known as the age of technology.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah, they always like to put a fun little name on it
Oh,
to
yeah.
cover up all of the war crimes.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, this is the industrial era.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot of industry right now.
Listen, this is like the least war crimey era we're going to get into.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. So they end up making these colony ships,
Mhm.
which they sent off in all different directions through the warp, with this piece of technology called the STC. It basically has all of human history and all of the engineering schematics and a 3D printer to be able to do all that.
Cool.
Basically a gigantic
Cool.
3D printer.
Yeah,
So
That's awesome.
these planets can just immediately become like
big
a
cities.
yes,
Awesome.
exactly. So STCs in 41st millennium are almost unheard of. They are so sought after. They're almost like an artifact or a relic.
So they are the humans made them at one point,
Mhm.
and then it becomes a lost technology.
For a reason we'll maybe talk about in
Yeah,
a sec.
yeah.
That's so Trigun of you guys. That's crazy.
So it wasn't actually made by humans. It was made by a thing called the Votan. And then there is a faction called the League of Votan. So Votan is a powerful AI computer, like the most
Oh my
powerful AI
God.
computer there is.
and he can
Yeah.
like you give him a prompt and he like makes a really
yeah, he's Chat GPT on
kind
steroids.
of a good picture, but the hands are all fucked
Yeah,
up.
can't get the fingers right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone worships him because they're like, this is the future, dude. Trust me.
So at the core of the galaxy, there are.
Okay.
Yep, we're going there.
We're getting some new lore.
Yes, we are jumping in. At the core of the galaxy, in real life and in here, there are black holes.
A big one.
Yeah, they're
Yep.
huge one.
Yep.
And with that amount of pressure, there are materials that are worth mining that cannot be made in different areas of the galaxy.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So they
Condensed gold, CJ.
yes, condensed gold.
Yeah,
you make
space-
diamonds in a
space-
second.
Space doors love condensed gold.
Yeah.
You know, gold that is more gold than normal gold.
Yes, hell yeah.
They sent these colony ships into that dangerous area where most people would die and get crushed.
Fun fact, this is a real fact about our universe. The supermassive black hole that's in the center of our universe is a black hole, but it is so big that if you took a spoonful of it, it would actually be about as dense as water. It's not that dense. It's just so big that it becomes a black hole with all of its mass.
I definitely thought you were setting up like a your mom joke
No.
or something.
I
I was
mean,
so ready.
No, he said these are real facts.
I don't
Not our universe.
know. I don't know your mother, Justin, or her gravitational pull. I would never impugn a guest on the show. I don't know what you're trying to imply about me as a person, but goodness, I'm sure she's a wonderful
nice
woman
lady.
if she birthed you. I assume you. I
More
assume-
not the raising part, but the birthing part.
I assume you came out
If
exactly.
she got a head like that through, she
Yeah.
Yeah, I
must
was
be
gonna
a
say.
good
I
True,
assume,
that is
I assume
what I've
you
heard.
came out as you did, just like broad shoulders and like bald head and beard, but just like smaller,
Yeah.
kinda. And I mean, if you can get those shoulders through your birth canal, you must be a heck of a lady.
How about we cut all of this and then
It's almost certainly not going to happen.
Yeah.
Ethan.
let's get back to talking about dwarves.
Yes. So
That's almost exactly how dwarves are born, though, I'm certain. Bald heads, full beards, big shoulders, just coming out of there, ready to mine,
oh,
baby.
hell yeah.
Mhm.
They're actually now we're going to be jumping into how they are birthed a little faster. But anyway, we'll get to that, I guess.
Yeah.
So
But there's
being pushed,
precious minerals. By
yes,
the black
they
holes.
are going to go mine these precious minerals in the core of the galaxy.
Mhm.
The atmosphere or the environment, if you will, with all that pressure, kind of shrunk them down a bit because they were humans.
No, you're not.
No.
There's
Yep.
no way.
Yep.
No.
You're telling me the humans were like, we're going to go get space gold, send some people out to go get space gold, and then the gravity of the big, massive black hole
Over
was
time.
so great that it made them smaller and gold-loving,
Over time.
and then they just became a new species.
Yes.
Amazing.
Well,
I
they
mean-
were a abhuman is what it's called. There's a couple
Abhuman?
other abhuman like species.
We'll
I
get
guess.
into
We'll
that in a
those.
bit.
But yeah, so they over time evolved into now we're into evolution. Evolved into space dwarves.
You know, evolution, space dwarves,
Yeah,
etc.
Yeah, exactly. Who, protect their Votan with their lives. Each league has their own Votan, and it is secret, and it is very powerful, and they keep it as secret as they can.
The Votan is the thing that...
the chat
The
AI.
AI, the AI.
Oh, okay, so there's
Yep.
several Votans.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Every
Um,
continent-sized ship has its own vote.
But the Votan,
I don't know about
like,
that. but
delivers...
there's a lot of vote. There's a few Votan, I should say.
the Votan, like, delivers... So, humanity made their own gods.
Yes.
It's AI.
Yep.
Amazing. And each faction of humans pretty much worship a specific Votan, and they get news
And they
from
eventually
it.
turn
Like,
into Space
how
Force?
do they like? I know they're keeping it secret. How do they like interface with it?
Well-
Is there like a Holy Spirit, which is like a Chat GPT window, and you're like, oh, I don't know what to do with my country. And
Yeah.
they're like, do
It's a
war.
lot.
And then
You
it's like,
can
all right.
ask questions, and it will take a long time to do the
Oh,
computation.
so it's just the big computer from
But it-
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Where
Kind
you're
of,
like,
but
what's the answer to life, the
Planet-sized
universe,
computer.
and
Right.
everything? And
You-
then it takes 1,000 years, and it's like 42.
Right.
Yeah.
right.
Oh.
There's a lot
to
of
be
that.
fair,
But
the,
also,
the
they are the
programming got
ones.
messed up on that planet.
They are the ones who, or the computer is actually the one. All Votan are at this point in time in the future are considered quote unquote clones, which I don't think it's the right term because it
Because
is.
they branched off of the...
They're like genetically modified. The Votan actually changes their DNA, does a randomized DNA to make a new person. So it's not that they're cloned off of one
Oh,
person.
they're
It's
test
like
tube
yeah, they're
babies.
test tube babies.
the Votan?
Yes.
I thought they're AI.
No, sorry,
no,
the
the leagues
dwarves.
of-
yeah,
yeah.
the dwarves of the
Oh.
Votan. They
okay.
make that. So there is actually there is no prison, there is no death sentence with the Votan.
That sounds great.
If you betray the leagues of Votan, specifically your league's Votan, you're exiled, which is basically death in that area,
Because it's a
And-
black hole.
and they erase that exact copy of the code that you are made of
So
from
that
existence.
You never happen again.
Yes.
Oh, God.
And I love the phrasing. There's no death penalty here.
But
We
basically,
do jettison you out into the vacuum
Yeah,
of space,
you
but
are
whatever
alive.
happens to you there is up to you.
right, exactly.
All right,
So-
so it sounds like the Votan is going real great for those colony ships. How are
What's
things
wrong with eugenics, Ethan? I don't understand.
How are things going back with the earthly people?
Well, I'm gonna jump one last thing first because they Games Workshop being they found in the 90s, like many things, that they didn't want to be silly anymore, that they wanted to be serious.
Which is absurd, man.
Oh.
Just be
Yeah.
silly.
So they
for
actually
heaven's sake.
tried for a very long time to wipe the dwarves out of existence of their
They thought
lore.
they thought that the humans
dwarves are the silliest
transmuted
part?
by gravity to get gold turning into dwarves, and then those dwarves being genetic fucking something. I kind of zoned out when you were describing it.
Test tube
Test tube
babies.
babies.
Was
Yeah.
too silly.
Yeah, when they have the orcs
That's
who
their
are
line.
already silly.
Okay.
But people like that.
People love the orcs. That's the best. But yeah, so they ended up having at one point in time the dwarves all be destroyed by Tyranids, which is another Xenos race we will talk about
We'll
later.
get there.
But then
Rude.
they reintroduced them, I think about a year ago.
But did they make them like their own thing?
They were 90% of only were killed by the Tyranids. 10%
Oh, of
survived. Were
course.
hiding
Yes.
in the core.
What's
Yeah.
up? What's up with that?
We love
That's
that number,
that's the
90%.
second time that's happened. Is that like a thing? Are they like referencing a Bible thing or something? Like what? Why is
the
this...
90% deaths?
Yeah,
I don't
why-
know, man.
I mean,
That happens in like anime all the time
It's-
too, where it's like, and then the giant robot came and wiped out 90% of humanity. That's literally that other Miyazaki film I was talking about.
sure. I mean, I guess on a planetary or a galactic scale, it's very easy to say, like, there's only 10% remaining, which is plenty to do anything
do
interesting.
But
But
all
is-
of the cities are dilapidated and old and
Right.
shit. There's not enough people
Mhm.
to upkeep. This is very weird,
Yeah.
though. The like
Just keeps
amount
happening.
that people are just like, yeah, I don't know, wiped out 90% of the population. That happened in Akira too, didn't it? With the first explosion thing, and it's like wiped out all the people, and then there was just like
That
some
was
left.
just in Japan.
I mean,
Well, yeah, not in the world. 90% of Japanese. Oh,
that-
the Japanese aren't people, Fran? Okay. Jesus, dude.
It's not the world. Okay.
All right. So we have dwarves, we have humans.
Yes, yeah, and
Are they called dwarves?
They're
Sp-
called
space
the
dwarves?
Leagues of Votan.
Okay, great.
They are derogatorily named the Squats.
That is. There's a lot. I will say, Warhammer is exceptional at inventing new slurs.
Yes.
Which I'm sure its user base is a big fan of.
Yeah.
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I do know there's a lot of Nazis who love
I'm-
to play this game.
oh, yeah.
Not that if
Yeah.
you play this game, you're Nazi. You can enjoy this game
Yeah.
and also strive for
The Venn
equality among your
diagram.
fellow human. But
The Venn
yeah,
diagram, there's some overlap.
there's a little overlap.
There's some overlap.
But yeah, so after the age of technology, humanity has crossed the stars. They have started colonizing many worlds.
And they're starting to slack on the technology a little
Yeah,
bit.
so there ends up being, as most sci-fi genres have, an AI uprising.
Damn, who
Classic.
could have seen that coming?
Right, which ends up shutting off all warp travel almost instantly.
Mm.
Oh, because they were in charge of that?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, they
I
were the
see.
ones who did all the navigation for it.
Oh,
So
okay.
all of a sudden, all these worlds were cut off from each other, and some of them used their agricultural mechs and put weapons on them.
Fuck
And
yeah, dude.
yeah, right. And they
We're
became
gonna turn our plows into swords, but we're doing it in a way cooler way.
yeah, it's more like chain
It's-
swords for saws, like to cut clear
Alright.
cut.
Yeah, I do. What if instead of turning our swords into plows, we turned our plows into swords?
Yeah, right.
Oh.
Yeah, and that they ended
Wait,
up.
do they not need food anymore? Why were they just like, well, we're cut off. Let's do war.
Well, they needed to defend themselves as well
from what? I
from
thought they-
orcs, from
Oh, sure. So
chaos.
they're just around.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So that group, those worlds became night worlds, is what they're called,
Mm.
and they
Knight NIGHT
Yes.
or KNI?
Mhm.
K. Sorry, K.
K, okay.
Yeah, like an Imperial
Okay.
Knight is
Okay.
the
Okay.
faction. They have a thing called the Chivalric Code, in which they
Just
Okay.
call it the code of
defend-
chivalry.
yeah
Or fucking do
No.
the samurai one. Just pick one.
They end up basically these worlds go back into a feudal medieval kind of society.
Bushido.
Yeah,
That's
where
the word.
there you go, Bushido code. Yeah,
That's redundant. Bushido means code. All right.
It's like chai tea.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, these worlds end up being pretty prosperous for the knights and the nobles on them, but of course the peasants and
Well,
and-
yeah, we're doing
yeah.
feudalism.
Classic
Right, we're doing-
feudalism.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But they are able to survive.
But the
age of
economy is
strife.
doing great.
Yeah.
So
They are able to survive the age of strife. Unlike other planets where maybe you're really good at mining and you have no food and you just got your food
Well, you
supply
just
cut
turned
off.
all of
Yeah.
you turned all of your food robots into like
war
war
robots.
machines.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there were like a lot of interconnected planets where like, well, it's fine if we're a mining planet because
Sure.
that one over
Just
there
import
is
it
going
all.
to
food planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
you have a bunch of banana republic planets
Yes.
that you're just like, well, as long as nothing happens to the warp, we're fine.
Something happened to
What
the
could
warp.
and then something happened to the warp.
That's the It's Always Sunny.
Yeah.
and then warp were declared.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this age of strife where worlds were cut off and Earth, known as Terra in this world,
Mhm.
was run by techno-barbarians who were warring against each other.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Just immediately they were
Yeah,
like, well,
it's very much
we're
like
cut
Mad
off.
Max.
We're cut off from economy, so we're going to do techno barbarians.
Hell
And then
yeah.
they were like, yeah, man, that sounds good
Yeah,
to
I
me.
love that.
It's a very
Take-
post-apocalyptic
Take
Mad
off
Max
their
world.
suits, put on like random metal pieces that they find lying around. All right, let's do it.
That's what I want for us, CJ.
One day, Ethan. It's coming soon, no doubt.
And this age of strife lasts for 5,000 years.
Oh, that's a long age.
Yeah.
That's all of humanity, like
Current
That's written
history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Techno-barbarians. And then arised a man known as the Emperor of Mankind. He just called himself the Emperor.
That's
Nobody knows his name.
There's a big that is a big like lesson for all of you about marketing and sort of like
It's all about
just
brand identity.
like
Truly.
dress for the job you want, call yourself what you want people to call you. Oh, hi, I'm CJ, master of podcasts. Oh, is your podcast popular? Oh, I'm the master of podcasts. Okay, easy, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, calls himself the Emperor of Mankind, is pretty much always dressed in gold. Like
That
he's-
helps.
He
Yeah.
knows how to market
Yeah.
this.
That helps a
It's all
lot.
about appearances there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's,
Image.
for some reason, 15 feet tall. He
Do
can...
orcs believe in him? Is that what's happening?
The Emperor of Mankind is so weird because with all of this, like, we're gonna get into a lot of like weird humans that are in the future here,
Mhm.
and they're like, oh yeah, all kind of like gene splicing and like special breeding and such. And the Emperor of Mankind is just kind of like, yeah, he's magically great just because.
Yeah,
Huh.
he's the strongest psyker.
Is he actually big, or is he in like a big mech suit?
No, he's
Both.
actually
Two people on
big.
top of each other.
Amazing.
And he has golden armor and a flaming sword and a halo around his head, but he doesn't want to be known as a god.
Well,
That's
no,
one
it
of
sounds
his
more
perks.
angelic,
Yes.
if anything.
Yeah. So he
That's the thing I like about my god emperors is humility. Guys, god emperor, no, just regular.
I'm sure that's how he
emperor
got
of all
elected.
mankind.
please drop
Angelic,
the god part.
maybe. Holy for certain, but god, no. Come on.
No.
So a psyker in this world is somebody who can pull magic from the warp.
Okay.
The Emperor of Mankind is the strongest psyker.
Oh, okay. So he does have like an actual claim to fame
Yes.
in that
yeah.
he is like the most powerful magician.
Yes, and
Mm.
a great fighter because
Sure.
He's
Well,
massive
right.
and great
Well, he's
armor
very
and all that
magic and
stuff.
he's 15 feet tall and
Yeah.
he's got a flaming sword. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be embarrassing if he weren't.
Just drops the sword
Yeah,
in every
oh,
combat.
Sorry guys.
Oops.
Sorry guys. Oh, watch
Sorry.
this. He like kinetically brings it back up to his hand. He's like, huh?
Anyway, I blew up all their brains a while ago. I was just I wanted
Yeah,
to
I'm
look
just
cool.
goofing. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm your friendly emperor, not god emperor, just regular emperor
of all mankind.
of all
Yes.
mankind.
So he
All-
takes it upon himself to unify Terra
Okay.
with all the techno
So they
barbarians.
go from their warring states period to now they're all worshiping this big man, and they're like, you know what, this guy is actually good enough. We'll just he's the dude.
Ride with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does his first attempt at not later as a space marine with a thing called the Thunder Warriors. He takes all of these warriors and gives them enhancements, and then they help him unify Terra, and then he unifies them with the ground by murdering them all.
Oh.
They do a nice purge.
Yeah, that's a very
Oh.
this feels kind of like
Classic.
Japanese history of just like,
Yeah.
all right, guys, you're gonna help me unify everyone. All right, boss, we unified everyone. Okay, great. Hey, kill those guys.
Yeah.
They're the only ones who can disrupt the status
That's-
quo. I know. I used them to disrupt the status quo.
He's done that like 3 times at this point already. He's been like, all right, we're going to work together to wipe out all of the AI. Now, anyone who knows about the AI stuff, put them in the ground.
Sure. And the AI is now forbidden. Yes.
Yes,
That's
yes.
never
Mm.
again.
So there are no longer AI or computers. They use a thing called servitors, where it is a human brain spliced into machinery to do like the computations and to
But
do
never,
all of
never
the
a
controlling.
full machine.
Correct.
Yes. So,
Okay.
and like we'll get into it more, but the basic theme of the human empire at this point is that like we had kind of an AI golden age,
Mhm.
but now that that's gone, we replace any like technological like advantage is replaced with human suffering.
Yeah.
And if we
Mhm.
throw enough human suffering at anything, we can overcome it.
Yeah, the industrial age.
I was about to say
Again.
Russian Soviet wars.
And the Votan are
They're
gone?
over
They're hiding. They're
Oh.
hiding right now.
So the
Aren't they still at
The
the
space
core
dwarves
of the
10%
galaxy or
of them are
whatever?
hiding over
Yeah,
there.
10% of them are hiding
amazing.
in
We
the
killed
core.
90%
In the core of the galaxy.
Votan as
Yes,
well.
yes.
All right.
The dwarves are still into it though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
okay.
dwarves still have their AI that their leagues are around, but they're way in the center of the universe, mining gold and hiding from Tyranids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Votan, do they have an agenda? Are they just trying to take over the universe?
God, they love gold.
They just love gold?
Yeah, they're
Great.
miners, man.
We made an AI, but we literally did the paperclip thing. We're like, we're
Yeah.
gonna make an AI and it's going to want gold the most. And
Yeah.
then it wiped out humanity and they're like, why? And it's like, because it makes the most gold.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. One of the interesting things with the dwarves, the space dwarves, is whenever a human is on board one of their ships, they shut off all the holograms and have it all look wonky and like be tilted off course, and like the pilot is using like rocks to pilot, and they're like, these people have no clue what's going on at all. They're not smart. They can't be intelligent. And then immediately when the humans get off, they shut all that off, put it back. So they're trying to keep all of the technology hidden from humans because they
Oh.
know that would cause more war, and that would get them to
That's-
see these Votan and seek the AI and see that it is
That's-
AI and destroy it.
That's very silly.
Yeah.
The thing that's killing me about all this is I know we're like describing this, and I know that there are people out there who are gonna know the Warhammer lore and be like, that's not really exactly correct. And
That's probably
listen,
true.
Fran already said the mostly correct facts about the things you love. So listen, we're taking
There's a reason why
we're
there's a
taking some
disclaimer.
liberties, but this is for entertainment
Yeah, it's-
purposes only.
Listen, Justin did a little bit of research. He did not read all 600 books.
Correct.
That would be, if you did that and then came here, I would like not give you the
Yeah,
job.
we
I'd be
probably
like, you're
would be
actually
friends.
overqualified.
Yeah, I'd probably
so-
be sitting at home in a dark basement reading. All the
How
time.
would you read in a dark base?
I don't know.
He's just looking. He's looking at a dark book and he's like, "Oh, man, I really don't know
I've
what's going on."
absorbed
I
this so
imagine
well.
him dressed as a-
Technology
you're right.
bad.
He's dressed as a wizard. He's
He's a
got the one
technomancer.
candle that
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
reading from.
It's like
Exactly.
an iPad. He's just
I'm
like, I
so
will
deep.
absorb
Okay.
your information.
I'm
All
in
right,
so
so
deep
we-
that technology is bad. I've removed it all from my
Hell
house.
yeah. But okay, so we used the Thunder Warriors and then we killed all of them.
Yes. And then the Emperor of
times.
Mankind started to reconnect a bunch of these these planets throughout the galaxy, but he needed help to kind of govern over it. So he made the 20 Primarchs, his sons.
Are they his literal sons, or is it more
they're-
like I adopted sons?
Sounds like
They're
manifestations.
more like test tube sons.
Oh, okay. Is
They are-
this a bison, an M bison thing, and these are all like genetic clones, but kind of different? And he's like, "You're my boys, but
Yeah,
I could
he's-
harvest
They
your
each
organs
take-
if I needed them."
They each take an essence of him.
Okay, so it's more like a Full Metal Alchemist father kind of deal.
Sure.
And when these Primarchs were created, Chaos sensed this as a problem, and they were able to infiltrate and send all of the children to different parts of the galaxy.
Explain yourself, Chaos. The
Chaos.
concept of chaos.
Okay.
Chaos,
yeah.
the gods.
The Chaos
That's-
Realm.
So that is worth noting that the Emperor of Mankind, he's bringing all of humanity back together after this big
Into
AI war, right?
Order,
Mhm.
one would say.
Right. But he's not just doing that because the AI are bad. Because he is like the greatest psychic ever, he can feel that there are demon gods that exist in the warp, and that we are like feeding them. And he's like, this is bad. I need to prepare humanity for the demons.
The demons are coming.
Demons, yeah, very much.
The
so.
old frog gods are gay, and the demons want to take us over.
That's
oh no,
so on point.
Yes.
CJ.
Yep.
I literally you sent that one meme with Alex Jones as a space marine.
There's so many of them
because it fits so well. It's
into the
so on point. But yeah, so the Emperor of Mankind, he's reunifying humanity. He's destroyed all of the AI.
Because chaos and death leads to souls going to the warp and fueling the chaos gods.
Right, and he's preparing humanity to fight against the chaos gods, to not just be at up.
Yeah,
sure.
So the Primarchs.
So he does care about humanity enough to want it to continue.
Yes. He sees himself as like its greatest hero.
Yeah. Well, yeah, some sort of messiah, perhaps.
Yes.
A Christ figure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So not only does he want to, now he has two agendas. He wants to unify the galaxy and find his lost sons. So he goes on a great crusade.
Sick ass.
Yeah,
Of course.
yeah.
Classic.
So he's able to reopen the warp because they got rid of AIs, but they replaced it with these machines made of human brains and suffering.
And psychers, yeah.
Yeah,
so
the psyker
and
part.
he's magic.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's very magical.
He's very magical, and he's now started to like, I think he's been breeding humans to be psychers, but he's also been like identifying psychers in humanity, and like, yeah, so he's now like, yeah, just get 10,000 psychic people on this continent-sized spaceship, and they'll be able to guide us through.
Yeah, they'll
hard
guide. Yeah,
about
they
where
think
they want to
very
go.
hard together and can go through the warp.
Cool.
So
But-
isn't he working against his better interest though? Because aren't his magical powers taken from the warp?
Well,
The
then the
RP
magic
is
works here?
incorruptible.
Yeah, he's perfect.
Yes.
Okay, so write that down.
Yeah, please.
and and two is, again, remember that like the warp is where these demon guys exist, but it's not that they're not all of the warp.
Yeah.
They're
but, like,
corners of the warp.
So the warp
but the
is
energy for magic is from the warp, which is occupied by souls.
It is. I mean, like souls are energy there, but it's just like a big energy vat. It's a big.
Is this a situation where we're
people aren't
like
gonna
getting
stop
we're
dying.
depleting the aquifer underneath America and the Great Plains states, and like we're gonna run out of magical energies if we're not letting
Fran,
chaos
this is a
continue.
crazy Kansas thing you're saying right now. I have no idea what you're talking about.
You guys don't know what an aquifer is?
I do know what
There's
an
water.
aquifer is.
I
Yeah.
think-
An aquifer
okay.
is water.
I think it would
Yeah,
be.
there's water under the ground that's being depleted because we're not
like
letting
the
I
water
think
table?
it would be better if you thought of it like this, Fran.
Okay.
There's a big table of oil underneath him, and there's some evil guys, we'll say to the east, that they own a bunch of oil and are bad, but we need to fight them later. We'll use a bunch of oil to take all of their oil. That's fine.
Right.
Like-
We're going to
Okay.
make a bunch of war machines so that we're ready to fight them later. And then by the
Okay.
time they have all their money, but we have big mechs.
But
Big
oil
mechs
is still a non-renewable
beat money because you need
resource.
money for big mechs, but it doesn't go the other way.
Yeah, well, don't worry
Well,
about that.
it does.
We'll figure out how to turn corpses
It
into
just
oil
seems
faster.
sustainable. That's all I'm saying.
If the logic at this part is losing you, you're gonna be lost for a while. I'm just saying.
I'm just trying to see where the pitfalls will be.
Oh,
here,
there's
but-
plenty.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Listen, he gets power
Are you-
from the warp, but so do all the chaos gods. And
Yeah.
so if the chaos gods get
Like, I feel
chaos,
like that's a finite resource.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to talk about pitfalls here, how about like the idea that he's like, I'm gonna go on a great bloody crusade so that I can stop the blood god who does love when we do a blood on
Yeah.
anything.
bloody crusade.
Yeah.
Again, Fran, we're not fighting for war. We're fighting for peace.
We will make them learn our peaceful ways by force.
Force if we must. These are the good guys, Fran. We're
Yeah.
supposed to
Yeah.
relate to them.
Uh-huh.
You're supposed to root for
Okay.
them. Which
Really
will
difficult, but
jump
keep
us
going.
into another faction, the Imperial Guard.
Yeah.
This is the main
Different
fighting
from the
force.
Imperial Knights.
Yes, the knights are big mechs. There's about 5 different size suits between 25 and 60 feet tall. That's the Imperial Knights. This is more like it would be us 3 on this couch with guns running in to fight demons and
So
orcs and
us
things.
in like
Solid.
3 weeks.
Right. The Imperial Guard, a normal regiment has about 500,000 people, 10,000 tanks, 30,000 tanks and 10,000 artillery. Their artillery is so powerful they crack the crust of the planet they're on a lot of the times. But it's like a horde army. They just send people in and just keep sending them. The average life
Power by
expectancy
numbers.
of an Imperial Guard in combat is 15 hours.
Where
Yeah.
are they getting all these people? So they're just fucking a lot.
Yeah, all
I mean,
of these
again,
planets.
We seeded so many planets. We've got so many people to throw into the machine of
I,
war.
I see.
the
So
average.
they were all disconnected, but they were still fucking making
Yeah,
lots
oh,
of
yeah.
people, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
they got reconnected, and they're like, "Hey, we have like 18 billion extra people. Can you use that for something?" And he's like, "Oh, well,
Oh.
we're doing a big crusade."
I'll figure
Can
so-
I
something out.
ever?
It's larger scale even than that. There are 1 million planets in the Imperium, and the average hive planet, is what they call them when there's just tons of people, is 200 billion people.
That's absurd.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's
it's on a
sustainable.
massive scale. So this is his main fighting force. He invades all of these planets, and each time he gets a new planet, he gets more people usually.
Right, because then they just
And,
get right to work.
Right.
You know.
And then while on this crusade, we'll jump to the Adeptus Mechanicus because they help a lot on the crusade.
Yeah, I
They-
love those guys.
Yeah, they are like bionic people, tech priests who live on Mars, who made Mars uninhabitable by nuking it
That
to
was-
make it.
Well, our Mars is already on.
Pretty sure it's
No,
uninhabitable
no.
already.
They terraformed it and then they unterraformed it.
Oh,
They just turned
okay.
it back into Mars. Amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, and they lived off of these life support systems underground. And the people who could keep these life support systems running were considered these priests
yeah.
and holy people. Which
Because
then
the
they became.
technology is like lost technology.
Yes, yep. So the
Okay.
tech priests of the Adeptus Mechanicus are highly sought after,
Yeah.
and they praise a god called the Omnissiah, which is the spirit of machines throughout all machines. Your car, my Corolla, has an Omnissiah soul in it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And
This
if
is
you
different
pray-
from the Necrons because the
Yes.
Necrons literally have a god soul in them.
Right.
But-
This is like
But the human technology is just advanced beyond what humans remember, and so they think that there's like a machine god inside of them, but actually it's just old technology.
well, and they believe it enough that if they rub like oil on it and go like a humna, and they praise it enough, these machines will just start up and start working again.
This is my confusion with which maybe it's on purpose, but like I know that they have their like rituals that they do. They have the rituals of repair, and so they do these like things to like make things work again. And my understanding was this was just like troubleshooting steps from the old days that they now have like turned into like a ritual of like curing the technology because they don't know how it works anymore, but they know if they do these rituals, it will make them work again.
It's a little a column
Unplugging
A and
it,
a
plugging
little
it
a
back
column
in.
B.
Definitely.
Is it because humans are kind of a little psychic and it makes their stuff a little magic as well, or is that just orcs?
That I mean,
There
I don't-
are psychic people in humanity. I was gonna say during the Age of Strife, they were actually burned as witches.
Oh, great!
yeah,
That's
yeah.
super useful.
Classic.
Yeah.
Hey, we
just-
have humans who are more powerful than ever, and our enemies abound. Well, you better kill them.
Well, they also had a predilection to open a portal to demons that would come and invade the planet.
Humans love doing that.
Yeah.
They can't help themselves.
Nope.
but yeah. So on the one hand, the Adeptus Mechanicus, they do know more about like actual machine maintenance than anybody else remaining, and they're like the only people who are allowed to know, basically, because if you learn too much about machines, you're
That's
obviously a heresy.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Is that
they
how you
also
feel, Justin, about your job?
Yeah. That's exactly how it goes.
That's where the certification comes from.
yeah.
You have to make sure that he doesn't know too much.
doesn't know too much. But then they do also like, you know, we've got our 3 chaos gods, but it's pretty strongly suggested that there are more gods in the warp. I mean, obviously there were the Catan and such. and there does seem to be a machine god that they have like a psychic attunement with.
So
Yes.
the Omnissiah is a real god, maybe, probably.
Maybe,
Heretic.
probably, yeah.
Oh wait,
Ah.
If you believe that, you might be a heretic.
Yeah, that is an actual issue where they're like, at first the Imperium was like, well, we don't want anything to do with you because you only people who worship the Emperor of Mankind as God are allowed. But then they were like, wow, these people are really useful.
Yeah, they make all our ships, all our guns, all of our...
So they did a Christianity where they were like, well, maybe the Omnissiah is just an aspect of the Emperor of Mankind.
Oh, yeah.
And
Got
so
they will
Classic
sell the
Trinity?
Starbucks Omnissiah cups around
exactly, yeah.
Omnissiah, but if it's anything more, like,
It's
we're not
heresy.
going to have a prayer for them in school or nothing.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay,
They
great.
it is, by all intents and purposes, heresy, but they kind of just turn a blind eye because they get so many
Beneficial.
ships and guns and all that kind of stuff.
The Adeptus Mechanicus also would consider not worshiping the Omnissiah as heresy, yeah?
Or idiocy, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. They're not as big on the purging as the rest, but
are they
they
humans? They used to
they
be
are
humans.
humans,
They're
yeah.
just augmented to
they love bionics, so
Yeah,
they'll
okay.
give like metal parts.
right. So they're like robot people, but
the flesh is weak.
they always have a human brain because you can't go full machine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
AI is bad.
Yes. But yeah, so they produce a lot of the weapons and ships and all that stuff that the Imperial Guard use. So they kind of go hand in hand together.
Okay. They're
Um,
simpatico, as we would say.
yeah. So they go on this great crusade to find all of the Primarchs.
Every crusade's a great crusade.
And the first one he finds is Horus, is his name.
Okay.
It turns out to be his favorite son, Horus Lupercan.
He's
and-
the son of my big cock.
Yeah,
And so I really like him.
He's my
I'm glad-
favorite.
I'm
And
glad we found him first.
and they are successful with their great crusade. With him by his side, he becomes his war master.
Cool.
And they reunite the
My
galaxy.
sweet boy.
Yeah, they don't find all the Primarchs, right? Just a lot of
No,
them?
they find them all.
Oh, do they? They find all the...
They
okay.
find them all. We'll get to why there's some weirdness in a second here.
Okay.
So when they're crusading on planets, are they just filled with random other races that we're just not talking about?
There are demons, there are orcs, there are some
Someone's
other
just orcs around.
crazy
They're fungal. They're just...
Xenos races. There's one called that the Iron Warriors, that's one of the groups, has to fight, called the Harud, which they're kind of this like 4-dimensional alien that can just instantly age you thousands of years in combat and you'll just turn to dust. So they fight all these kind of...
not fight those guys that can instantly do an Ark of the Covenant on us?
Yeah, exactly. Nope, they fight them anyway.
No.
You must
I
fight.
mean, if there's enough of them,
Okay.
you gotta overwhelm them.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different...
They can't turn us all
They can
into
turn us
mummies.
all to dust.
I knew that they had a kill limit, so I sent wave after wave of my men at them.
What was that from?
That's for Futurama.
Yeah.
Oh,
The kill bots were that ready to do. They had a kill limit.
Rolls over or whatever. Yeah, great.
So,
Good crusade though.
yeah, great.
Great
the
crusade.
some would say
Great
great.
crusades.
Yeah. With this crusade, they end up I should start with this. This other Primarch, known as Lorgar, starts worshiping the Emperor of Mankind. Wrote a book, kind of like a Bible or Torah, if you will, about the Emperor of Mankind, and builds an entire city to praise him.
Cool.
He was raised by,
Mhm.
because all of these Primarchs were sent out, they were raised by different adoptive parents. His was a priest of a religion. So he's like, I'm so devoted. And what ended up happening is the Emperor of Mankind figured this out, came down with a couple of his brothers and leveled that city and said, I am not a god. You cannot praise me like this. This is not what I want.
It feels like there's an ulterior motive. It feels like if you become praised like a god, like a bad thing happens to you, or you're like bound to, I don't
To
know,
the warp
yeah,
forever,
or
so,
like
yes.
some shit that he just doesn't want to happen.
Yeah, but he's very not agnostic, I guess atheist. He's definitely against the chaos.
Listen,
gods.
gods are real.
Gods
and
are real,
people
and I
worship
hate
them.
them.
But I don't know if that's atheist.
It's anti-theist, I guess.
Yeah, I
He's
guess.
very
Yeah.
anti-theist.
I know God is real, and I'm going to kill him.
Yeah, that's
it
it.
was
Yeah, that's
like-
the gist of it. So when this happened, one of Lorgar's like second in command, Erebus, ends up like, "Hey, you want to praise gods? I know a few. I know about 4 that you could start praising.
You want to praise God, son?
and
I got 99 gods, and I ain't one.
So Lorgar starts getting corrupted, and that then leads to a couple of the biggest things. The thing that has the most books written about it, called the Horus Heresy.
The
And when-
Horus Heresy?
Yeah.
Horus.
Horus.
Oh.
That the first
The
and most
favored-
favorite.
the first
of
favored
Primarch?
son.
The
Yes.
Horse Heresy.
The horse. Yeah, they just ride horses. And
Hey,
they
God's not real.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Maybe we should worship demons.
I
The
think-
Horse Heresy.
All right, I'm
All right.
super ready to go through 20 different Primarchs.
Well, but the nice part is we're only really gonna do 18.
Oh, love it.
I think.
Easy.
Wait, no,
peasy.
there's 20. Well, yeah, there's.
We
yeah,
covered
there's
2 of
20,
them.
but 18, but 20.
Great. All right.
But 19.
Tell us.
So,
Teach us.
all right, Fran. The game is
Yeah.
what god do they worship? You
Okay.
know the players now. Can you name them?
Mhm.
Let's start there.
I'm cheating because I'm looking at notes.
That's not cheating. You took the notes, right?
No, just
Oh,
looking
no,
at
I'm
your
looking
notes.
at your notes.
Oh, that is cheating a little bit, but that's fine.
Well, it's using my resources.
Yeah. Open
Open
book
book.
test.
Got-
Yeah.
Blood God Corn,
Yeah.
who likes blood and skulls.
Okay.
We got Nurgle, who's just the fun-loving pestilence.
Not
Yeah.
Guy
nothing you've
loves some
described
good
as
poison
fun-loving
and
about
green.
him, by the way.
Blood, love, and pestilence.
Is-
And rot.
Does it help his little demon minions are called Nurglings?
That does help. That's
Yeah.
whimsical.
Yeah, it is. He's very whimsical.
Okay.
In that sense.
I did forget what Zinch is.
The god of magic, knowledge, deception,
Okay.
and secrets.
Got it. Okay, magic guy. And then there's the BDSM mommy.
Yes, Slanesh.
And then there's
Slenish.
the emperor, but you're not supposed to worship him. But is he on the
Yeah.
table?
He is on the
The-
table.
Okay.
And
The
also,
human emperor, whatever.
also you can, if you feel it in your heart, you can just say all chaos. Because some of them
Okay.
praise
Oh.
all of the chaos,
All of
not
just
not
the
just
idea
one
of
specific.
chaos.
Yeah, the idea.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there,
And you could, if you want bonus points, you could just say loyalist or traitor. If you think
does that
they are,
mean?
because the Horus Heresy is divided in half between the loyalists and the traitors.
I see.
Okay.
I mean, you will be functionally saying that
Loyal
if you-
to the God King,
Yeah,
or to not him.
Yep. But if
Got
you
it.
can nail down which god they praise, that's full
You can-
credit.
That's
All
full
right.
credit.
All
All
right.
right.
Are you ready, Fran? You don't look ready.
I need to actually write this down.
There's really no reason to do that.
I don't have a good attention span.
That
so I'm
Well,
gonna
is
if
forget
the
shit
game-
real quick.
Six
If the
things.
game feels like it's taking
It's a
too
lot.
long, or it's just not working the way I
Well,
want
we're
it
gonna
to,
we're gonna
we'll cut
like
it.
we'll lightning
I'll just-
round it.
yeah.
But I believe so. So
right,
you're
so
gonna
I'm going
describe
to
a
give-
person.
Well, I'm going to
All
give
right.
you the name of the legion, their Primarch, and their shtick, basically.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay,
All right.
great. And then
Okay.
you pick one.
So
Got it.
the first legion is the Dark Angels. Their Primarch is Lion L. Johnson. He is a master tier duelist. They have a very Knights of the Round Table feel. Their aesthetic is dark green. And Lionel Johnson is very Machiavellian. He is win at all costs. And he has nuked some of his brother's homeworlds.
Just for fun.
Well, the Machiavellian thing.
Sure.
The win at all costs.
I know what I would pick for this. I'm gonna play too because I don't know anything.
We're-
Yeah,
we'll
go
play
for
at
it.
home.
So
Yeah, you
I-
Are
guys can
these
play it.
okay? Hold on. Are these the people you can play in the game? Like on the
Yeah,
tabletop
Dark
game?
Angels is a
That's-
is a
is a-
legion you can
a
play in the
faction,
game, a
yeah.
faction in the game.
Okay, cool.
They are Space Marines. We didn't actually go through what a Space Marine actually is, but we'll get there.
That's
Okay.
that's gotta be like a loyalist, right? That's a dude who loves the Emperor.
What say ye, Fran?
I'm torn between Nurgle just because green, and then
That's absurd what you're describing.
That's
That can't be possible.
and also humans. Human, not god guy.
loyal.
So you're saying loyal?
Sure.
Or no,
Or
you're saying
Nurgle.
loyal. You're saying Nurgle, Fran.
Maybe.
Yeah, or loyal.
She said
Or loyal.
you have to pick one.
It
Fran.
is-
That's not really how tests work.
This is the lightning round, Fran.
Yeah.
Hi, Nurgle, just to be different.
They are loyalists. They
yeah.
praise
I'm
the Emperor of Mankind, or
Yeah,
he's
they
loyal
love
to him.
that shit.
The second one we can ignore. They were destroyed in the Edict of Obliteration. No knowledge is known of them, and their statue on Terra has been removed.
Okay.
They did something so bad that they're erased from memory.
A free point.
Probably
so a
those,
free point.
Probably those magic guys.
Yeah, I'd assume chaos also, but I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
don't know.
Sure. Okay, this third one is called the Emperor's Children.
Okay, I
Okay.
think I have an idea for this one, but
I have
keep
a feeling
going.
for that
okay,
one. Keep going.
Their Primarch is Fulgrim. Their color theme is pink, and
Cute.
they are about perfection in all forms, trying to be as perfect as possible. And they love noise. We'll put that in there. 'Cause
Noise?
that has to do with some of their faction stuff.
I guess
Emperor
I'm
human.
gonna say loyalist again. Yeah.
Angel, not God guy.
He is Fulgrim is a demon prince for Slaanesh, and the Emperor's children are followers of Slaanesh. They kept the name the Emperor's Children to kind of just troll the Emperor when they fell.
To make us
for the
right now
lulz.
angry. Is that the
Exactly.
Alright.
Yep.
Okay.
Great.
All right. The fourth legion is the Iron Warriors with their Primarch Perturabo. He is a siege master. He is all about destroying fortifications and building fortifications. He can look at a machine and know exactly how it works and can reconstruct it. And yeah, that's the main thing. They're all
Is it
about
not the
siege.
mechanical god?
No, he's not the. Oh, you get the,
Omnissiah.
That's, I guess you get a freebie if he's
Yeah,
not the Omnissiah.
He's not the Omnissiah. Sorry, I misunderstood the question.
I think that he is a defector. I don't think he likes the Emperor.
Okay, Fran, what do you got?
I assumed he worshipped the mechanical god.
Okay.
That's not an actual god.
No, he does
Because
not
mechanics.
follow the Omnissiah. He is a traitor. He is,
Hell yeah, dude! I'm
and
nailing
it's
it. Right now.
not just chaos; it's chaos undivided. Perturabo is all about pettiness. He
He's small.
he's big.
Thinks of. He's dumb. He's not smart.
He's actually a genius. But he's probably my favorite Primarch because he is so petty for the reasons that his accomplishments are not acknowledged. The meme where it's like, why do you give me your toughest challenges? They give him his toughest challenges and he succeeds every time, but then is always shit on, like doesn't get acknowledgement for his accomplishments. So he's just petty and angry because he's overworked and underpaid.
But
so he turns to the dark side.
get the praise he
he's
deserves.
He's
Yeah.
like the retail workers.
Yeah.
Stan.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
Um,
relatable.
Yeah, though he did when he found his legion, did the Roman version of decimation, as in 1 out of every 10 people was killed.
Weird.
By
Usually
the
it's
other
the other way
9.
around.
Yeah, 1 out of 10, but killed by
9
the
out
other
of-
9.
9 out of 10 would be a better.
We love 90% kills.
Yeah, that's true. That is usually there. Okay, so the next one is the White Scars. Their Primarch is Jegatai Khan. Their whole thing is going fast. They love to go fast. He is known as the Hunter. But yeah, they love speed. They're on motorbikes. They're running real fast. They got ships that go fast. That's kind of their jam.
I'm gonna say
Go
Nurgle.
corn.
I feel like these guys love whimsy. They love going
Corn.
fast.
Yeah.
Blood
Nurgle
guy.
loves speed.
They are loyalist.
Fuck.
They love the Emperor. Yeah, they're also known as the Smiling Warriors because they're always smiling when they go into battle
This
because
feels like Nurgle.
this is
energy.
like their favorite
No,
thing
this
to
feels
do.
like corn
This is what they've been
energy.
training for their whole lives, is to fight. And the
Alright.
White Scar name comes from the scar that they get when they are initiated into their legion.
So white dudes.
It's like the white
only?
hand orcs.
No,
thing.
the theme is very like Hun Mongol theme. Fast.
Well, hence the con.
Okay,
yes, the
sure.
con part. Yes.
I feel like you need to
Yeah.
mix these up a little bit here.
I can try.
Why?
I can jump to a different one. Let's just jump to the Iron Hands. Their Primarch is Ferrus Manus. They love
Ferrus
bionics.
Manus, stay off.
They love like machines. They're all about changing up their body parts. The flesh is weak. They're all about.
Yeah,
it.
so
they're
Omnissiah.
they're like Adeptus Mechanicus guys.
Yeah,
yeah. Wouldn't it just be the Omnissiah?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, they're loyalist, but they are the favorite chapter or the favorite legion of the Adeptus Mechanicus, to the point where one of their tech marines is on like the board of the Adeptus Mechanicus.
I'm
Their
glad they have a
buds.
corporate board.
He's the CTO of
Yeah.
which is actually more important to the Adeptus Mechanicus than the CEO.
Oh.
It's technology.
The next one we'll do is the World Eaters with their Primarch
Chaos.
Angron.
Chaos.
When they found Angron, he was fighting in a gladiatorial pit on the planet that he was found, and was leading a revolution that was about to be quelled when the Emperor came and took him.
That does seem more like corn, but I'm still gonna stick
Corn.
with chaos.
Yeah. I'll go with corn.
He's Corn Boy.
Ah,
Loves corn. He's a demon prince of
God, I
corn
love
now.
corn.
Yes.
All
I
right.
love that corn. We'll jump to the Space Wolves with their Primarch Leman Russ. They're from the planet Fenris.
That's dumb. We're the Space Wolves. Our planet, it's Space Wolf Planet, but we made it Latin so that it's less obvious.
Mhm.
That's stupid.
They love, obviously,
Bunch of
half
fucking
of their
furries.
half
going
of their
off.
codex is wolves. They
Amazing.
are your Vikings in space.
Yeah, sure they are.
Leman
Oh,
Russ is
we're
known-
wearing all these pelts because we're Vikings, not because we're role-playing bears or anything.
Do you love it?
Yeah, and he is known, where Jagatai Khan was the hunter, he is known as the executioner.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with loyalist.
Yeah, these guys are loyal. These fucking furry
Yes,
bastards.
they are loyalist. Yep.
Mhm.
We're gonna go to the Night Lords.
KNIGHT or
Yeah, which
NIGHT?
NIGHT.
This is stupid. All right.
With their Primarch Conrad Kurz.
Comrade?
Conrad.
Conrad
They're
Kurz.
not a bunch of...
Conrad.
They are big into flaying their enemies, as in skinning them.
I could have guessed this from the night peoples. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
ahead and just say the BDSM mommy.
I will say, on his planet of Nostromo, the day he took over, or the next day after he took over, there was no more crime, because the
Oh.
penalty for crime was death, no matter the crime. And
Oh.
he kind of had a very Batman kind of haunts the night. He was known as the Night Haunter.
Yeah, you know how
The
Batman just
Philippines.
kills everybody who does a crime.
A more effective
A
Batman.
yeah, he's the
Sure.
better Batman.
Not
If-
tied
if-
down by petty morality. Yeah, this is BDSM mommy energy.
I'd go with that too. Yeah.
He is chaos undivided.
That's
Just
absurd.
All the chaos.
That's the opposite of chaos, what he's doing. Crime is chaos.
He does have a room that is of flayed faces of people he's killed, that they did all the mechanics behind it to make them scream. So actually,
That's
so
not
he has
chaos,
he
though.
has a
He has a
scream room.
screaming room.
Yeah, yep, that he
Amazing.
likes to spend his time.
You guys are getting caught up on the word chaos.
yeah.
Is it just evil then? Is that kind of what it's translates to? I mean, no
Sure,
one's
yeah.
good, but
Yeah.
just being evil for evil's sake.
It's
Mhm.
would you
That is
worship
chaotic.
But getting
right?
rid of crime is not not evil or
I mean,
chaotic.
So the difference between a loyalist and a chaos worshiper is that a loyalist believes that the best route for humanity is to forever worship the Emperor of Mankind.
And
a
do
cha-
his plan.
Right. A chaos worshiper is like, if we do stuff that these gods like, they will give us more magical powers.
Okay.
Yes, big time.
Oh.
Like, maybe
That just
we
seems
should
reasonable.
stop worshiping that guy and start getting a little blood for the blood god. He's made me very big and strong because I kill for him.
Sure. Okay.
We'll,
All right.
we'll jump to another random one. The Blood Angels with their Primarch Sanguinius. They have a very vampiric.
like Sanguinius, CJ?
Yeah, they're a very vampiric.
Were the Blood Angels
Legions.
were led by Blood Angel in Latin again?
Yep. He is actually the
Slanish.
most liked Primarch by all the other Primarchs. They love this guy.
Real good
He's-
dude.
Yeah,
Sanguinius.
he's super charismatic. He's
I-
a chill dude.
I'll
man.
abstain from this one because this is the only faction I've looked into, because this would be the one that I would purchase things from, because they're
Slanish.
the red one.
Wouldn't mind.
Yeah, their
BDSM
color
mommy.
scheme is red.
No, these guys I believe are the most loyalists.
Yeah, they're big.
Seriously?
They're big fans. Yeah, they love the Emperor.
They
Oh
are.
my
They
God.
are. They're vampires or some shit, but they're so loyal that they don't succumb to vampirism because they're like, this is not what the God King would want. He would want
Then
us.
why are they blood angels?
Because they don't drink blood.
Listen, we are vampires
We
and
lo-
we could drink
We
blood.
want to drink blood, but we're angels.
But I'm
So that's where
working
the
on it.
angel part comes from. Is we desire
Okay.
the blood, but we won't drink it.
Very
We're blood
noble of
angels.
you. Very
The
noble.
most noble,
The
you might
most
say.
noble, the loyalists.
Oh my God.
We'll jump to the Imperial Fists. They are also about fortifications.
I have a sex toy named that.
Roll.
Thank you, CJ.
You're welcome.
Their Primarch is Rogel Dorn. He's got this whole cannot tell a lie vibe. Like he's very George Washington, or whatever kind of deal. Or is
I
that
chopped
Abraham
down
Okay.
the space cherry tree.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
It was me.
They're like their color scheme is yellow. He's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty much his vibe. He's very
loyalist.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably. Yeah. What
He's-
is this guy gonna do?
yeah. He doesn't. He's
Fucking
very
weird.
boring in a sense.
Yeah,
but very effective and very good at his job.
killing.
Well, defending usually.
That involves killing
Listen,
people. Generally.
Listen,
No,
all
we're
of these
splitting
people-
hairs here. Are good
All
at.
of these people are killers.
Yeah, yeah. Some do it for different reasons.
I'm just trying
yeah.
to find the good guy in here. We'll get
Yeah.
there.
Well, we could.
Well,
Should we skip to the free space? The Sons of Horus.
yeah, that's a free space. Sons of Horus, also known as the Black Legion or the Luna Wolves. They have many names. But with the name
Not
Horus,
those furries.
Wait, yeah.
The different,
On-
darker,
Yeah.
edgier ones.
Yes.
On what side of the Horus heresy do you think the Sons of Horus are?
That does feel like maybe they're good boys. Good loyal boys. They would never do a wrong.
They would never.
It's the same as the other thing where it's like, yeah, we named ourselves after the
Emperor.
heretics because we want to stick it to the heretics. Take that, idiots. No, these guys they're defectors.
Defectors.
Yeah,
They love
yeah.
chaos.
Yes. Chaos
not
Undivided. They are.
the humans.
Yes. We'll
Yeah.
jump to the Death Guard with their Primarch Mortarion. They're big, slow movie guys who used to be called the Dusk Raiders. And their color scheme is green. And they like chemical warfare and lots of other
Yeah.
things like that.
Nurgle.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
Yep,
Nurgle
that's a
boys.
Nurgle worship.
Amazing.
For sure.
You gave it to you.
Yeah, I
you
gave
did.
her. I
You, when
did.
you
I
said
set it
when you
up.
said that the color scheme is green, I'm like, well, Fran's gonna guess Nurgle either way now.
Yeah.
And then
then
you're
I
like,
threw
also
up
they love
toxic chemical
poisons
warfare.
and
Yeah,
such.
yeah.
And it's like, all right,
Yeah.
Do you, CJ? Do you like the Death Guard being led by Mortarion?
Listen, this is almost 1-to-1 how I name my Dungeons and Dragons characters. So my name is Sordius. What is your defining feature? Ah, thank you for asking. Let me demonstrate my skills with the blade.
I am a master of the Bushido. My name is Bushi.
My great.
We'll jump now to the Salamanders with their Primarch Vulcan. Vulcan
Do
is
they like fire?
they love fire.
Amazing.
Yeah, Vulcan is a blacksmith. He is like the best blacksmith.
Right.
Also, he is bigger than all of the other Primarchs. He's like 16 feet tall or somewhere in
damn.
that tall,
Oh.
where all the rest are in their like 13,
Is
14
made of
feet
the
tall.
God King's bigness.
Yeah, he is very large.
You shall have my bigness.
They also
Wow.
like civilians.
They
Actually,
like civilians.
they get to go see their families, and they
Yeah,
actually
so-
have like a
Yeah, so
a
we
vibe.
didn't get very deep into the Space Marines, but the rest of the Space Marines, good or bad, don't give a shit about regular humans. They are just like,
It's Brotherhood of Steel.
yeah,
shit.
like they all worship the God Emperor, and his key, his glorious empire is to be upheld, but regular humans are lesser
Yeah,
beings.
It's like if a F-35 was out on the battlefield, they're not gonna save just one dude because it's like trillions of dollars of a machine. Each of these soldiers is
right.
like
They're gonna go
trillions of
carpet
dollars.
bomb a hospital
Yeah,
or something.
Yeah.
that is a lot of their vibe.
Great. But these guys love this. Yeah, it sounds like these guys are integral to the economy, so I'll probably say loyalists.
Yeah, they are loyalists. They are the only Space Marines who get to see their family. They're like the classic picture of a salamander is a Space Marine holding a child in one hand and another child's hand in another while a battle is going on behind them. They realize that without civilians, there is no food, there's no army, there's no anything else. So they actually protect
one-to-one connection.
Yeah,
but whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
that's just
everything
evolution
has a motive.
at play. They're like, we realize that the working class is valuable, and then
we should protect
all
them.
the other armies are like starving to death and shit. And they're like, yeah, this seems like a pretty good work-life balance.
This one might. We'll see how this goes. The Ultramarines with their Primarch Robute Guilliman. They have a very Roman legionary kind of theme or ancient Rome theme. And my favorite is Robute Guilliman was once called by one of his other brothers the Avenging Penny Counter. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
rude.
Right.
Probably.
Feels pretty rude.
Yeah.
Presumably loyalist.
No, I think this guy is a defector. I think when you get to Roman Legion, it's a whole house divided against itself kind of thing.
I don't think about the Roman Empire that often.
I think about it all the time. So.
Sorry, I was wrong. It's the Avenging Bean Counter. Even worse, more of an insult.
Same thing.
Yeah, but they are loyalists.
Fuck.
They are the blue Space Marines you see in every box.
They're the thin blue line.
Yeah, they have the basically.
Yeah.
They have the biggest empire within the Imperium.
Yeah, we respect them the most because they have the most on the line.
Well, yeah.
They're out there protecting us every day from the Black Angels.
Thank you for
Night
finally
Angels.
saying it, CJ. Thank you.
Yeah, Night Angel lives matter. What about our boys in blue?
But yeah, he's the reason his empire is so big is it's just like he understands supply lines, logistics. They're not good at like fighting necessarily. They're fine. I mean, they're Space Marines. They're great at doing that, but they're just good at everything else that allows you to be good at war.
Yeah, again, a lot of these factions are just like society.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, yeah. I mean, you've got your Ultramarines who are like, we figured out how to do supply lines, and then you've got your other guys who are like, we've got wolves.
Yeah. Or
we are
worlds.
We are wolves.
I have a chain axe and I am going to put it through your face. I am hungry, but I'm going to do
that
this.
Helps. It's not sustainable, but in war, you don't really have to be sustainable because war isn't sustainable, Ethan.
Yeah, 15-hour lifespan.
No, that's stupid. War forever.
Oh, okay, never mind.
And so I'm going to just throw the 11th Primarch also under that Edict of Obliteration. We'll just get him out of the way. So then there are the Raven Guard with their...
Another fucking animal.
Wait.
With their Primarch.
CJ, a second. I'm going to start a side game here.
Is it Corvus? Is his name Corvus?
It sure is.
Amazing.
Corvus Corax.
How could I possibly have guessed?
Corvus Corax.
That's the dumbest thing.
And they are all about stealth.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Even though they're in big power armor
they're
suits, they are the stealthy ones.
god, the magic secret god
Zinch.
of stealth secrets.
Zinch guy.
They are not. They are loyalists.
Oh my god.
This is their CIA, I guess, for lack of a better term. Yeah. Well, then I think we only have a couple left. We can go with the Word Bearers and their Primarch Lorgar.
That's
like
who we worship.
Do you like that, CJ?
Lorgar, you know.
Can
we get Lorgar on the podcast?
Divinity and praising things.
Yeah.
Right.
Loyalist, presumably.
Wait, Lorgar, it's like...
This is the test to see if you listened to me or not.
Yeah, hold on. There
a lot of names thrown.
That one is the magic... Wait, no. Yeah, that one's the magic god. Maybe?
No,
You think it's Zinch?
This is Chaos in Undivided again.
Okay.
He was
praising-
the
he
first
doesn't like being
boy.
worshipped.
Yeah,
who
he's the
was-
first boy praising all of them
Oh.
who corrupted
Got it.
Horus. And then we have the Thousand Sons with their Primarch Magnus the Red. They like...
Do you like that, Ethan?
Huh? Yeah.
Ethan has a D&D character named... Well, it's not named Magnus. I have a D&D character named Magnus.
Yeah, you have a D&D character,
Yeah.
Magnus.
Is he red? Is he a
He's-
wizard?
No.
Is evil.
It's more black.
Evil God King.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This one, even though he's called Magnus the Red, their color scheme is more like a blue, like bluish purple.
With gold trim.
With gold
Magnus
trim.
the colorblind, I
With
guess.
gold, with gold trim.
Amazing. I'm gonna say he's an evil chaos guy because Magnus is just kind of an evil name.
Yeah.
It's a pretty evil name.
Yes.
Corn?
No,
maybe?
I said the reason I asked if he was a wizard is because they
They worship
worship
wizards.
Zinch, yes, the god of
Oh, Tzeentch.
magic. Yes.
Man, that's the one time I
Okay.
didn't guess that one.
I think oh, there's one left.
The Alpha Legion.
Yes, there's one left. The Alpha Legion.
Oh,
This
those
is why I
guys
say
love the God King for sure. They're like, we're out here on the grind set,
Alpha. Yeah.
working every day to get the Emperor Senpai to notice us.
What's the name of the leader of the Alpha Legion?
Well, this
CJ?
is why I said there's 18 Primarchs, but
Centaurus.
there's 20 not Primarchs, but there's 19 Primarchs. So this one actually has twins, Alfarius and Omegon.
Amazing.
You
One-
love that? Do you love that, CJ?
They are blue, like a light blue. They're all about how would I say it? Not centrifuge.
Subterfuge.
Subterfuge. Yes, they're all about spies.
They're all about centrifuges.
They want to spin things.
They're making. Hey, the nukes don't make themselves, dude. That's how you do it.
They are all about being like spies, and they like going and changing their armor to look like other
Well, these
space
guys.
marines and
That's the
sneak into
Tzeentch
their.
guy.
These
then,
guys
presumably.
have to be like separatists because there's already a
The CIA.
loyalist CIA. So these guys have
Yeah.
to be like MI6
Oh
or
my
whatever.
god, CJ, you're so wise.
Amazing. It's because
Yeah,
I worship
Tzeentch.
that one god of smart
Uh-huh.
boys.
These boys are goofy because I mean, I'm not gonna get into the whole thing, but I think Omegon died, right?
Yes. Yep.
No.
No. Wait. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Alfarius is their last one, and they're part of their subterfuge plan is that all of them after the Horus Heresy, and they're now just Chaos Boys. All of them wear the same armor, and when asked, they will all respond that they are Alfarius.
Yeah. It's very.
Even if
I'm
one of them
Spartacus.
right next to you said, "I am Alfarius,"
Yeah.
it was I am Alfarius also.
They're a Spartacus.
Yeah, that's a very Spartacus thing.
amazing.
Though, so yes, they are the Traitor Legion. Maybe. There's a lot of like conspiracy behind them. Of are they traitors? Are they
Jesus
loyalists?
Christ. All
maybe
right.
maybe the one is the FBI and they're the CIA.
Right.
Right. So
There's a
they're
lot
really
of-
working
Mhm.
against each other, but also they're kind of on the same team, but also not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it, CJ.
So
Amazing.
this
Maybe.
this
Maybe.
all happens in 30K in the year 30,000.
Is that
It's
a
the Horus
game?
Heresy. Yes, that
Okay.
is one of the games.
Oh.
There's the Horus Heresy tabletop game, the 30K game. Where-
That game was part of the reason that they were like, we can get back to being a little silly in 40K because now 30K is serious only.
Yeah,
I see.
Was it?
yeah.
Was it?
You don't like Corvus the serious?
Or the planet of Fenris, where all the wolfmen are?
Fucking hell,
That's
dude.
pretty
Do
rad.
they
Yeah, I
just
don't know,
assume
man.
people don't know Latin, or do they assume people do?
Yeah, they want you to enjoy how clever their Latin
Yeah,
names are.
I'm sure. Wow.
So clever.
Yeah. So the Horus Heresy
Uh-huh.
happens where half of the legions are fighting the other half.
Yeah.
It starts with Lorgar and Erebus helping corrupt Horus, who then asks. He realizes that he needs some boys on his side and trying to fight against Rogaldorn, and who's basically incorruptible and cannot tell a lie, and Rabute Gilliman, the avenging bean counter. He realizes he needs somebody who's good at siege, so he talks to Perturabo and gets him on his side. He's like, "Hey, all that stuff you do, you're really good at it, and I like you."
Wow.
And he's like, "Whoa, the acknowledgement I needed." Oh my
Support.
god!
I see now why Justin's bringing up these very minor yet specific
Yeah.
character details.
Yes,
for each of them.
exactly. They come into play.
Now they're all the pieces fit together like
Yes.
a beautiful lore puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
So beautiful
Finally
is it that we
crafted.
can describe it only with our words.
I feel like you need a little more drink.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going insane, dude. I just had to listen to like 18 different
Yeah.
wolf names.
Hey, try having them all memorized.
That's all right.
It'll drive you crazy.
Listen, we had a big list there, but we're getting back into some sillier, faster stuff.
Yes,
all right,
yes,
all
right.
right, all right.
So there's two main things that happen during the Horus Heresy that are written about a lot. Once they get the rest of them kind of on their side. The reason that I brought up the Dark Angel, Lionel Johnson nuking planets is Horus, being the War Master, knew that he would be a problem too, and sent him as far away as possible, and kind of cut his warp power, like, because he's got the Chaos Gods on his side, kind of made the warp transportation almost impossible. So what Lionel Johnson tried to do to pull them back was nuke all of their homeworlds. Like, he just went from homeworld to homeworld and tried to destroy it to try and pull them back.
Great.
But they didn't care. So they
I'm not there.
Right, exactly.
I don't know what you're trying to do. Should nuke me if you want to make me give a shit.
So Magnus the Red finds out about this heresy and tries to warn the Emperor. He is the second strongest psyker behind the Emperor.
So he's
the magic
aspect of his magic.
Yes. So he's been warned not to use his powers that powerfully, and he does, and breaks the secret webway portal project that the Emperor is making. He's like, I'm sick of this warp. He figured out how to like tunnel into the webway that the Eldar use.
Okay.
But it shatters that, and he's like, Magnus, you idiot! What are you doing? Like, kind of deal, and tried to warn him, but ends up kind of, Magnus gets pissed off and joins the other side. Then there is this big thing called the Drop Site Massacre, where before they knew the extent of the heresy, the Emperor sent a lot of a mix of legions, which some were secretly traitor, to go get Horus, go fight him, go bring him to justice. And the Salamanders, the White Scars, and I can't remember I think it's the Space Wolves, basically get double
crossed.
Double crossed. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
no.
And lose a.
Not the Space Wolves.
I don't know if
those
they
guys.
How many wolves died that day?
Yeah, I don't know if they say 90%, but a very large, large amount of their legions are massacred at the Drop Site Massacre, which then they go and try and do the Siege of Terra. They're trying to take over Earth. And meanwhile, the Emperor is stuck on a golden throne, holding back the demons because of the webway portal being shattered. Demons are trying to enter, and he is holding them off. He has to stay on this golden throne.
Like psychically, or like literally fighting them?
Because he's so psychic.
He's so psychic,
So
and
he's
this golden throne that they built.
He's just thought boying it right now. He's like,
Yeah.
no.
But he has to sit on this golden throne built on Mount Everest, of course, because that's
right, he lives
how
on
it
Terra.
works. Yeah.
Well, triangles have magical powers, and mountains
Thank
are
you,
just
CJ.
Yes,
big
yes.
triangles. So yeah, that tracks.
Exactly. So he's stuck there while the Siege of Terra commences. At one point in time, Perturabo has to go wrangle Angron because he just started like destroying whatever world was in front of him because he went into like a barbarian rage.
What, the
He had to-
world eaters?
Yeah,
were
the world
destroying
eaters
worlds?
just started destroying worlds.
Weird.
And like he's basically Perturabo's running the siege. He's like, Mortarion, quit throwing up over there. Fulgrim, stop trying to do YouTube no words to these people we captured.
Oh,
like,
my God.
we need to do war.
Focus.
Stop purging and doing slurs. We need to go do murders.
Yeah, exactly. So Perturabo is put in charge of the Siege of Terra, and it is going very well because he hates Rogaldorn, and all he wants to do is show that he's better than him because Rogaldorn was put in charge of defending Terra, which Perturabo thought was his duty because he had proven himself against like the Harud and all those other things I was talking about. So he's in flow state. He is so like excited doing all this battle, like chess grandmaster, moving pieces around, destroying everything. And then Horus comes up to him. He's like, hey, I need you to go to the front line with your guys, and Mortarion's taking over. So Perturabo,
The throw up guy.
yeah, that's exactly his response. He's like, the throw up guy's taking over. So he sends some Death Guard as his last like order. Sends some Death Guard to like on a suicide mission. Takes his Iron Warriors, takes his ball, and just rage quits and goes home in the middle of sieging Terra. He's like, "Fuck this! You're just like Dad. I'm out." So, and during this, Horus is like. Basically all 4 chaos gods are like trying to control him, like people fighting over a remote control. And he's kind of losing his mind, but the Emperor and Sanguinius and Rogaldorn see an opening to get onto Horus's ship and confront him. It's clearly a trap, but they don't care. They're like, we're gonna just do this.
Yeah, whatever. I'm
I'm
not
God.
going on the ship. I'm sending other people.
Yeah, the Emperor's like, I am basically a god. I'm gonna go confront him.
But don't call me
I'm
that.
not a god.
Right.
Don't
Clarity.
So he puts his best friend and most trusted ally, Melkador, who's like the 3rd strongest psyker, on this golden throne, like, hold this for me. And and
I need to be here
saves.
defending this, except for a little while.
yeah,
you can take over.
You can take over for a little bit. Saves. All right, I'll take it back when you're done. So they go and they confront Horus on his flagship, where the Emperor tries to convince Horus, because he is his favorite son, to give up his ways, but Horus ends up killing Sanguinius.
Oh, my Blood Angel boys.
Yes, your Blood Angel boy, which causes a crack in all Blood Angels, where they get what's called the Black Rage sometimes when they're fighting, where they just see everything as Horus, whether it's good or bad on their side. They just start going into a murderous rage.
Good. Great.
So he kills Sanguinius, and
Whatever.
he's basically just hitting the Emperor, and the Emperor's like, stop, man, I don't want to kill you. And he just keeps hitting
This
him.
means nothing to me.
Yeah.
This is hurting you more than it's hurting me.
But he is hitting him with demon weapons that are like actually kind of killing him, or maiming him at least. And then a lone Imperial guardsman runs in between and is obliterated by Horus. And that kind of somehow made the Emperor snap and decides, all right,
Wait a second.
we're doing
people
this.
to die this whole time? Oh
Yeah.
my God. I've never really been face to face with it.
I haven't seen it. No,
This is
close.
changing my perception.
Yeah. So he decides, all right, we're doing this, and obliterates Horus with his psychic powers, not just his body, but his soul.
It's just
just
Thanos
completely
snapped him.
destroys him.
Thanos snaps him.
Yep. Then he goes back to the throne where Melkador, who has been holding it that whole time, turns to dust. And he now sits on, for the next 10,000 years, he has sat on the throne being fed 1,000 psychers a day to keep him alive.
Psychically fed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it takes their body too.
It kills them.
They drain them. It's like they're like
Right.
wringing a rag
Oh.
of all the psychic
Oh,
power.
Like squeezing
Oh,
a
boy.
carrot so hard that juice comes
It's
out.
simply not
Oh,
possible.
boy.
And that brings us, well, we're going to do a little deviation to the Tau Empire, but that basically brings humanity up to the 41st millennium. After the Horus Heresy, which failed, the universe is in a way, the universe is kind of split and in shambles. The
Yeah, it
Imperium of
succeeded in doing that.
Man, the God Emperor is stuck on a throne, slowly dying, being fed psychers and being praised by everybody around him. The one thing he didn't want was a church, and he got a church around him where people come and do pilgrimages and pray to him.
Right. Yeah, they just go like, come see God. He's sitting on this here statue.
Well, there is a funny part with some of the other brothers get killed too, but Rabute Gilliman somehow gets like his throat cut, but they stasis freeze him and they're able to resurrect him. But before the resurrection, they have him in stasis. He's on a planet where they just built like a mausoleum around him so they could come see him, because he was like their god, and they praised, it's like a pilgrimage in Ultramar to go see him. Everybody goes and does it at least once in their life.
He looks pretty neat.
Yeah.
People are fucked up.
But,
Yeah.
yeah. So like,
It's just like,
up until this point, things have not been great, but now they get worse for your average person.
Yeah.
Because we had this period of time where the God Emperor was like, I'm not God, don't worship me like that. And now he's just a like psychic mind sitting on a statue, and so everybody worships him as God harder than ever. And since we had a big heresy that nobody like thought was possible, they are now going to be far harder on anyone who doesn't worship the god than ever before.
Yes. I should also say, sitting on that throne, he is staving off demons, but he's also powering the Astronomicon, which is like a lighthouse in the warp for navigation. As soon as he dies, they believe again that all warp travel will cease to exist.
Because
he is
really
the one. They
that
won't be
Magnus
able to
really
navigate
fucked up his other plans of travel, isn't it?
Yeah. He
Come
was
on,
so
Magnus.
close to getting them to go through the webway, but Magnus broke it. There's a common saying Magnus did nothing wrong, but he kind of did something wrong. He didn't follow his dad's advice, I guess. But yes, that will bring us to the 33rd millennium, 34K, where I think it's an Inquisition ship from man stumbles across a planet that has a bunch of blue men using like sticks and stones, and they just discovered fire.
Barbarian.
Yeah, they just discovered fire. And this
Savages.
this ship of humans is like, they're nothing to worry about. Let's leave.
Give them some blankets and let's go.
Right. So they leave, but a warp storm happens, and time is kind of funky in the warp. It doesn't really.
Right.
It's all timey-wimey. So this warp storm happens on the planet, and after 6,000 years, these blue dudes come out with all these like Gundam anime mechs
Hell yeah, dude.
and big
Nice.
guns. Because
Hell yeah.
that like encounter made them realize, oh, we should stop fighting each other. There's bigger threats out there. Let's build to
Yeah.
get ready for it.
Fuck
Listen,
yeah,
the,
dude.
the Tau Empire are like the dumbest fuckers in the galaxy because they're like,
But they got mechs.
what if we all worked together towards a common goal, and thus we could all stop bad things from happening? And every other group in existence in 40K is just like, that is the stupidest thing I have ever heard. You fucking fools.
Yes, they believe in a thing called the greater good. For those of you who have played,
Fucking morons.
for those of you who have played Halo, they're kind of like the Covenant. They're very diplomatic, and they're built from a bunch of different species. But the Tau are the main one. They have a pretty strict caste system that you cannot elevate through.
Well, it's just based on race, right?
Well,
or is it also based on
like how your parents' birth?
Oh, okay.
So
So it's just a caste system.
yeah, it's just a
Yeah,
caste
it's
system.
that.
So the ethereals are at the top. They're your lords, kings, and like holy leaders.
Okay, so it is just the fucking covenant.
Yeah, it is a lot like the
Okay.
Covenant. The air is your pilots, captains, and admirals. The water caste is your diplomats and your bureaucrats. Earth is like your tradesmen and engineers, and then fire are all soldiers, and they're at the bottom of the caste
Okay.
system.
Okay.
But yeah, they're your
Cool
anime
stuff.
weeb boys. They love going and trying to talk to you first before killing you
Okay.
to give you a
Oh,
chance
I
to
respect.
like join them.
Mhm.
Some human worlds have been like integrated into the Tau Empire.
Right.
So-
Alright.
Some heretical traders have been like, wait, so you don't want to use us as slaves to fuel a never-ending war machine forever?
You're just gonna put us in our caste system and fuel a never-ending war machine
Right,
forever.
but
Yeah.
slightly less bad?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Well, these guys aren't the good guys.
But yeah,
They believe
they
in
are all
economy.
about like oversized swords on their Gundam suits
yeah,
and
dude.
big like
That's
rail
pretty great.
guns and Magna rail rifles
Mhm.
and all that kind of stuff, and carry
Neat.
a lot of their like infantry soldiers carry katanas and stuff.
Just
How
because they don't do
cool
anything.
are the
Yeah, they don't-
minifigures for
Huh?
this particular? How cool are the minifigures for this particular army?
The
They sound
robots
very
are
cool.
pretty cool. The infantry are kind of whatever.
Yeah.
That I will say this is I don't think we're gonna get much into like the actual tabletop play at any point here, but I think it is very funny to note that the Tau are super ranged focused, and they're like the only group that is that in the space warfare game.
Yeah.
They're like, well, we're gonna use guns, and everyone else is like, well, I have a chainsaw axe, and
Yeah.
I think guns are stupid.
when you have a chainsaw axe, everything
Everything
looks
becomes
like
a melee
heretic. Every problem looks like a heretic. So that starts happening in in 40K, but it started in the 34th millennium when they were first discovered.
Mhm.
Um,
They can't use warp
They're not
technology.
psychic boys.
They are not psychic boys at all.
So they
are
have
not
souls.
They don't have souls.
They are not corruptible though either. Nor are the leagues of Votan. Since they are
Because
cloned,
they're computers.
Yeah,
they don't
like
they don't have a connection
test
to
tube
chaos.
babies. They don't have the
So being
connection.
connected to chaos gives you magic, but it also makes you evil sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Unless you're uncorruptible like the God King, but he's busy.
Right. And we're gonna
'Cause
get
he's busy.
we're gonna do a little circle back a little bit to Space Marines and incorruptibility and some of that heresy.
Okay.
We're gonna talk a lot about heresy.
talked
Not
a
the
lot
Horus
about it.
We talked
heresy,
a lot about
more
heresy.
about like heresy towards not praising the God Emperor kind of heresy.
Okay.
So a Space Marine, we should start with that, is a person who has been given the gene seed of their Primarch, which gives them an essence of their Primarch, and 19 other augmentations, or 18, I guess the gene seed counts as one, such as a second heart, a third lung, a chamber that connects before their stomach to like purify all foods and get rid of diseases and poisons, even to a point
nice.
where they can eat people and get their memories. Some of them, I think that's a Space Wolf thing, and sometimes even spit acid. So they have all these different,
Just like a regular
Fun.
wolf.
They have all of these different augmentations. They are on average 7.5 to 8 feet tall. They're one of their augmentations allows them to strap into power armor, and they carry a gun
can do
called a
that.
bolter that shoots those big Monster Energy
Uh-huh.
drink sized bullets I was talking about.
Cool.
They're functionally immortal. That one where they will live forever if you don't shoot them.
Because of the augments? Or because
Yeah.
if
They're
you eat
constantly being
brains, that
shot
actually
at.
just gives you
I
the
believe
life
it-
essence of the thing you just
I
ate.
believe it's because of the augments.
Yeah.
So that would track.
Though currently in the lore, I think the oldest one is only like 2,000 or 1,500 years old because they die in combat a lot. They're fighting a lot.
They do.
Yeah,
They
they're
do
constantly
do that.
fighting.
Their
Right.
average
But-
life is like around 300 or 400 years because
If
that's what they do.
if
No.
you are don't eat brains.
Okay.
They have like
Okay.
you get like prion disease.
Correct.
Well,
That's scary.
That's
That's
what
if you
the middle
eat-
chamber in the
That's
The
why they have
heart-
that
yeah,
purifying
yeah,
chamber.
exactly. And so you can
to
eat
help
brains.
make sure that doesn't happen.
You got to be able to eat brains if you want to get knowledge. Come on now. Everybody knows that. So that's what a Space Marine is functionally. Then they get the essence from their gene seed, which is what Legion they're also attached to. With that, there are other types of super soldiers in this world. During the Horus Heresy, that Melchador guy I talked about found 8 incorruptible soldiers and 4 otherwise incorruptible people, made them in charge
Okay.
of the 4 people in charge of what is known as the Inquisition, and took those 8 others, put them on the moon of Titan, and put a bunch of magic runes on it and threw it into the warp. And
Why?
somehow it's okay.
This is how we do science in the future.
Yes, yeah.
That's how we
It's-
do science in the present. Right?
Yeah. So the timey-wimey thing, they started training and they became the 8 became what are leaders of the Grey Knights, and then the 4 other ones are the leaders of the beginning of the Inquisition. The Grey Knights are the army of the Inquisition. If a Space Marine is a
Okay.
super soldier, a Grey Knight is a super super soldier. Every Grey
Uh-huh.
Knight is a psyker.
It just feels like Digimon.
Yeah, yep. We're getting
Where we
into
just keep getting
that.
new
There's
levels.
no, well, I was gonna say Pokemon Dynamax. There's no Dynamax.
We've
at least.
digivolved into Ultimate.
Yeah. So the Grey Knights, they're all psychers. They're all incorruptible. They're got the best armor and weapons because they are the
And they cost the most.
yeah, they do cost. Well, they don't cost that bad in the tabletop because you don't field as many of them because of how special they are. That's the army I personally am using currently.
Yeah.
So then
I saw you the strength of your weak army that
Yeah.
lost to a bunch of orcs.
He's
no, well, that
Wait,
was
wait.
my ally who got obliterated by the orcs. But yeah, so Grey Knights are like your super soldiers. Before them was the Custodes, which are the personal bodyguards of the Emperor of Man. He handcrafted them, whatever that means. But they are also functionally immortal. They have fast reflexes. They are not augmented by any shape, but he created them each individually. For some reason, they are 9 to 10 feet tall. So there's a big, huge like height
For some
thing.
reason,
The
they
taller you are, the stronger you are in this world.
That's
it
true
seems.
in regular
Every-
life too, Justin.
Everybody know that.
Yeah,
I can
right.
throw Ethan 8 miles if I feel like it.
Probably couldn't even do 1 mile.
But yeah, so
I know what
the
I'm doing after
custodies,
this.
they are his personal guard. They have the best weapons. They are all like artifacts and blessed and consecrated. All of the armor and the weapons. They use these like chain spear gun combos.
You know
that
the
are
ones.
you know
love
the ones. It looks like a spear. It's got a chainsaw at the end, and it shoots out the end too.
Right.
Yeah, everybody's got those. So they are the personal guard, where the Grey Knights are the army of the Inquisition. The Inquisition, they're saying, is innocence proves nothing. They go around and they murder heretics. Basically, they try and purge heretical.
They are an Inquisition.
Yes, they are an Inquisition. They
Yes.
purge heretics.
They purge heretics and they decide who heretics are.
Right, your innocence proves nothing.
Great.
They are the only group in the Imperium that can do what is known as exterminatus, which is destroying an entire planet. So
Oh, if the
some
whole planet just needs to be
the world
Inquisitioned.
eaters
Yeah.
could probably do that.
They're not
eat
part of the
them.
Imperium.
Yeah, they're not part of the Imperium.
Amazing.
But yeah, the innocence proves nothing are the guys who can blow up planets. So that's
Okay.
pretty fun.
That's a fun time.
Yeah. And then, so speaking of personal armies, the ecclesiarchy of the Imperium of Man also has their own personal army, and that is the Sisters of Battle, or the Adepta Sororitas. They are your nuns with guns. They are
Sick.
normal people who have power armor. They have all of the money in the world, so they have all of this good gear, power armor, good guns. They're my favorite is they come into low Earth orbit and start blasting battle hymns before they fight, and start pouring holy water on the planet from space, and then they drop in with their drop pods, which are churches. They will drop an entire church into battle.
That's so fucking ridiculous. So they worship the God King.
Yep.
But the holy water, that's all the same.
Yeah.
Great.
There's a lot of holy stuff in
Listen,
this.
Christianity is really good at adapting.
Yeah. Like, we got a new Messiah. We
Yeah,
got
they
this.
did the same thing
this
where
holy
they
water.
took Christmas from the pagans. They're
Right.
like, well, we're making a new religion, so we're just gonna have like holy water and churches and
And
shit.
we're gonna drop churches on
Yeah,
people.
they drop churches in. They have their tank is
cool.
a pipe organ tank that
Okay.
shoots rockets out of the pipes.
That would
Uh,
sound bad.
And then they also have these like brainless little children cherubs that fly around and give them ammunition and drop off supplies in mid battle.
Thank you, flying babies.
Yeah, thank you, dead flying baby, for the ammunition.
Uh-huh. I can't remember which one we were talking about that was like CJ's D&D character, but this one's like my D&D character.
And functionally on the tabletop, so like they when one dies on the battlefield, the rest are like super psyched about it because they were a martyr for their god king.
Hell yeah.
And on the tabletop they get these things called miracle dice, and every time a unit dies you get a new miracle dice that you get to like sub out rolls for, kind of like a divination wizard in D&D.
Lamau.
Yeah.
Lamau.
So the more you die, the more powerful the rest of the people get around you. So
That's
they
kinda fun.
are the
It's
church's personal army.
It's that graveyard dog from Pokemon.
God, I love dying for the cause so much.
Right? Yeah. It just gets me so
God,
excited.
it gets me fucking wet and wild, dude.
Yeah.
I can't wait to go murder these infidels.
But yeah, the as you can imagine, the Inquisition and the Ecclesiarchy Church are horribly like corrupt and mismanaged and
No.
infighting.
No.
And so a lot of
What?
things get done
That sounds like
for power.
disorganized religion.
Right? Yeah, it is a lot of that happening. So that is not great, but you know that's
Could be
that's how it
better.
goes. Could be better. Now we're going to jump to the last, I guess, two factions, but they're kind of one.
We're in 40K.
We're in
Oh my
40K.
God.
We've made it.
Gosh, we made
We've
it.
made it.
What a journey.
We're going to talk about the Tyranids
Oh,
and the Gene Stealer cult that
I thought
worships
they were
the Tyranids.
Tyrannids.
That's lame.
Okay.
It's Tyranids.
Sure.
Tyranids are your bugs in space.
They're the
Your
Zerg.
Yeah, the Zerg.
Okay.
They're
The
the
Zerg are the
Flood.
Tyranids.
The Zerg are the Tyranids. They're the bugs from Starship Troopers.
Oh, cool.
They
The ones that it turns out that we're the bad guys and they're the good guys.
Yeah.
Are these the good guys?
Yeah. Yep. Maybe.
Did we find them?
To be fair, these are the most like, oh, it's just nature, not
That's just nature,
evil.
baby.
Because they consume entire planets and all organic material on them.
Is that evil?
But is that evil?
Yeah,
It's not evil.
I mean-
yeah.
I mean, they're not doing it out of evil. They're doing it to survive.
It's
and-
neutral.
I mean,
yes,
listen, is
sustenance.
there an unfathomable psychic consciousness that exists in the warp that wills them to do this? Maybe.
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 Yeah. They are a hive mind based faction. They work in unison. They are very slow to travel.
They don't have warp.
They don't use the warp, but they are coming from every direction in the galaxy slowly.
I see.
Do they just
they're
like
surrounding
build
us.
rafts out of themselves as
They
spaceships
are.
like ants do?
Their ships are just bigger.
Big creatures.
bugs.
Okay, so that
Them,
is
yeah.
that is
Are
literally
That's great.
Zergs.
Yeah, they
Like
are. The Zergs are them.
Yeah, the overseers or whatever are like space traveling ships
Yeah.
Love
that they
it.
use to get to new planets.
Yeah.
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 There have been a few
That's gross.
fleets
You
that
love
have
it.
come, hive fleets that have come through. The first one of the big ones was what is it? Well, the one right now is Leviathan.
Yeah.
That's the one attacking
That's
right
a
now.
cool name.
Yeah, the other one has
They all have
Bo-
cool
uh,
giant monsters
yeah, what's-
of
are they
biblical
called
times.
what's the B
Goliaths?
one? I can't remember.
Behemoth.
Yes, Behemoth.
Oh, that's the big three from the Torah.
yes. So there have been 3 attacks.
Yeah. The Leviathan is the monster of the seas.
Yes.
Behemoth is the monster of land, and Goliath is the monster of land, and
No, that's Behemoth.
the Behemoth. Okay, then the Goliath is the monster of the sky.
No, the monster of the sky.
I
has a
have
really
now
stupid
learned
name.
more about religion on
Yeah.
Earth. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So
Didn't know about that.
currently it is the Indominus Crusade and the Indominus era, run by Rabute Gilliman, fighting the
Fucking
Leviathan hive fleet that it was invading.
So I've heard the theory that eventually the Tyranids are going to win, just
Most
because they will
likely.
just overwhelm, but
Yeah.
they're slow moving, so it takes a long time.
Yeah, and they also have the ability to, when they consume matter, evolve to be better at fighting that.
Yeah, I did
creature.
notice.
Cool.
So Ethan played the Tyranids when we played, and they have like flamethrowers and stuff
Yes, yeah.
as part of them.
Yes.
I guess they
Bugs?
evolved
they
flamethrowers.
evolved. Yes, they evolved
That's
fire.
pretty cool.
They
Stupid friend.
they evolve a
The
bunch.
sky monster is Ziz.
Ah, yes, Ziz. I did actually know the sky one was a weird one no one uses. That I just
So yeah, so they are slowly invading from all quadrants of the galaxy, but it is very slow. They consume all matter on a planet. When they get close, it actually like shuts off their connection to the warp and the ability to communicate out. So for the people on the planet, and the people on the planet start hearing a very quiet scream that gets louder as they get closer. It's very terrifying to be on a planet.
Very ominous.
Yeah, on a planet that's being invaded by the Tyranids.
Like that, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
great.
And they consume all biomaterial and evolve based off of that.
right.
And then they get these gene stealers. So that is a form of a Tyranid that goes onto planets and is able to use its psychic ability to create cults, which then do some mutations and they sabotage a lot
Yeah.
of stuff on the planet.
So,
So-
the Tyranids are a hive mind, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So the Gene Stalkers are also part. The Gene
Yes,
Stealers
so
are also part of the hive
here's-
mind.
Yes.
Here's what happens with the Gene Stealers is because the Tyranids came out and they were like, what if we can make things a little bit grosser? The Gene Stealers have they go out ahead of any kind of fleet and they have like a brood lord, right? Who infects it goes to a planet, finds people, infects them. Those people they get the urge to get down something fierce, and they start having a tons of babies.
Mhm.
And those babies
Oh.
are all freaky, tyrannid, half human, half monster things.
Mm.
And
Okay.
the people who are infected like this see no problem with that and start to worship their babies and the brood lord that infected them. And then they
Every parent should worship their baby.
every parent should worship their babies. And they continue to like breed and grow as a cult in secret. And every generation that they get there, like the monsters breed with each other and such, and they get to look more and more just like the human species, even though
Oh.
they like
A little more like Hills Have Eyes, if you've ever
they
seen that
become
movie.
a little more Hills Have Eyes, and they start and the cult's ultimate goal is to prepare for the fleet that they know is coming. And so they like infiltrate the military on these planets and all of that. And then when the hive actually does arrive, they flip on everyone and have a big civil war so that no one is prepared when the Tyranids just land down on the
Okay.
planet.
Yeah, because the Tyranids
All right, this
have
makes sense.
the Tyranids have this, again, very nature kind of based, where if they see defenses that are very strong, they'll just move on. They won't it's like a risk reward thing for them. They won't attack if they feel like the risk is too high. So these cults kind of make the risk go away by sowing
Wow.
in sowing dissent.
Surely these are all the factions.
Yes,
of
that
the
is-
40K universe.
These are all the factions. I guess the only thing worth noting is that at the 40K point here, things are very bad for everyone. So wrapping around to the beginning, the Necrons have woken up and they're like,
Yeah.
Fucking finally.
Finally,
dude.
I've been sleeping for 60 million years.
Oh, where are those elves? Sex cult? We knew it.
Yeah.
Absolutely called that one.
Called it.
we call that. It looks like 2 or 3 other empires rose and fell in this time, but it's looking like Necron
It's our time, baby.
Oh.
We're back.
Big Necron
Yeah.
versus Tyranid final battle, life versus death.
Yeah,
It's
that is a thing. Like they cannot consume the Necrons because they're robots.
'Cause there's
bodies.
robots.
Because they're not organic, yeah.
So that is a hard counter to the Tyranids is a Necron.
There you
Very, very silly. Well, if you want to play this game, I guess pony up some cash and go do it.
There are a lot of video games too. That's how I got into it to begin with.
I'm not going to promote this. I don't encourage this kind of behavior, but if it helps, like if Games Workshop sees this and you want to promote this as an advertisement, I don't know, go for it.
If you want to join our MLM,
We'll
Let us
have
know.
some information about that upcoming.
get in at the ground level. That's where you get all the money.
Games Workshop, you actually can't take any of this from us because we don't make money off of this, idiots.
Oh!
You fools.
That's the
You
way.
fell into the old lore trap, just like you, the audience, because if you're listening to this, you've made it to the end of another episode of The Lore You Know. Thank you guys for listening. And hey, thanks, Justin, for coming on.
No problem.
Telling us about just a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, a bunch of nonsense.
Bunch
really.
of like crazy ramblings of an insane person.
Yeah. If there was no 40K and I just told all of this to you, there's no company.
you would.
I'd be in an
I would.
insane asylum.
I would believe that you serve some sort of blind,
Chaos god?
deaf god with an infinite mouths,
Yeah.
who only desires chaos. But that is actually what we believe here on the podcast, to sow the seeds of chaos, conflate reality with fiction so that your minds will be more easy to take over when we do the MLM
When
thing,
we-
and it'll just
And
be
when
sort
we
of
make
a
a bunch
freebie.
of cult babies.
Yeah, we'll make cult babies, and you guys will be like, "Oh, they're horrible. I love them." And
It's been a
then
real slow burn, but we're gonna get there.
we're getting there. It takes time, Ethan. It takes a little time. But
Space Rome wasn't built in a day.
space Rome, but all space roads lead to it. So we'll get there. We also want to thank Gailstorm Kitsune for doing the artwork for our channel, and Apagio for doing the intro and outro music as well. We've got some more guest episodes coming up for you guys. We got some more topics that we're going to get into. But for now, I have been CJ.
I've been Ethan.
I've been Fran.
and do a heresy and see what happens. 50-50 chance it goes good.
Can't be any worse.
Maybe a little bit lower, but you know,
Maybe
can't be any worse though.
just a little bit lower.